Good evening, everyone. Welcome along to another Retro Wednesdays. My name is Matt Fisher. You can call me Fish. And actually, I say good evening. I should say good afternoon and also good morning, depending on where you're joining us from. As always, do let me know where you're joining from in the chat. It's always good to know where everybody is in the world. Now, we are leading on from last week's Retro Wednesdays, where we had an original, I think from, was it 93 or 94, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers sticker album. This week, we're sticking to that same theme because we're going to 1995 with the Power Rangers The Movie sticker album. But there is a slight difference in that I couldn't actually get a retail box of unopened packs of stickers, but luckily I was able to spend the last 18 months collecting these. Essentially, a big old box of loose but still sealed Power Rangers The Movie stickers. I say sealed though, because these are from 1995. They are already pretty much, I mean, the glue on them isn't holding. South of England, hey Stevie, how you doing? Arctic Shock, always good to have you with you. 3 p.m. in Brunswick, New Brunswick, Canada. I don't think I've had anybody from Canada on the stream before, so welcome. NYC, always good to have an international audience, and good to have you along. We're going to start in a minute. Obviously, we're going to give a little bit of time for people to join the stream. Good to have you on again, Willem. By the way, in the last stream, you were talking about your surname. Now, my wife's not in our private chat tonight, so she can't laugh at me. My wife is Dutch, but I do know that the G makes a H sound, so I'm going to guess at De Hoyt. You can tell me whether that's right or not. I am a madman, and 2 a.m. in Indonesia. Okay, so calling me a madman when you're watching at 2 a.m, I don't know if that's completely just. We're in Georgia. Is Willem, is that right? Hoyt? Is that how that's pronounced? Because one of the first things she taught me was happy birthday, which is actually congratulations on your birthday. And I can't remember it, but she specifically taught me it because it was a hard one. It was van harte gefeliciteerd met je verjaardag. Is that right? I know it's not your birthday, but I've just told you happy birthday anyway. Kev, good to have you on. More from the UK. Yeah, so like I was saying, this is the box of stickers. It's not as pretty as the retail box that we had last week, but finding these is not that easy. I did see one on eBay in America, but it was going to cost a ridiculous amount to get it over here. So I've been building up this collection pretty much for about 18 months. And while these are rare, they're about to get a whole lot rarer because we're going to spend the evening opening these up. I have no idea how many I have here. I might actually have more than a retail box, which will be good if it is. Oh, look, they are falling apart already. I say they're sealed. It's 30-year-old glue. Not so much. Because we have a nice, fresh, clean, brand new Mighty Morphin Power Rangers The Movie sticker album from 1995. And already, I'm making a mess of this with it not being in a box. Stickers are some of the most underrated and overpriced merchandise. That is true. In fact, I'm hoping that we have enough to get a full album tonight, because if you want to buy the individual stickers. Like, there's sellers on eBay that sell the individual stickers to complete your album. They cost about £1 a sticker at least to be able to get it. So I'm hoping that we've got enough here. In fact, I'm hoping we've got a little bit more than enough. So excited when the movie came out. I can't remember waiting for it, and felt like forever for it to come out. My tiny local theatre, I called every single week to hear what would be playing. I'll touch on the movie in a minute, but I just wanted to explain something slightly different about this album to the album from the TV show, is that it's not just stickers. Apparently there are also these little standees, sort of like cardboard standees, that you get in each pack. There's only 80 of them, so I imagine we'll probably get quite a few duplicates. And you can see this is definitely the American album because they're talking about state and zip code. £1 UK is like $2 American. It used to be. I don't know, that the conversion rate's not so great these days, but White Ninja Ration was awesome. Okay, so let's talk about the movie a little bit before we start. So, I don't think there is a Turbo movie album, no. Not that I'm familiar with. I've been trying to find a Zeo sticker album, like a fresh one that we can do on these, but that's almost impossible. Not the Zeo movie, obviously. 1995 was when this movie came out, and I don't think, because there was internet, but it's not exactly the World Wide Web. Because there was no internet, it was kind of hard to know what it was going to be. I mean, like, we had the TV show, and going into it, I just assumed it was going to be like the TV show, but longer. I never actually envisioned that it was going to be this bigger budget thing, and I actually do like some of the things they did. I like the fact that they changed the suits so that they were like this very 90s martial arts, fake leather covered, whatever you want to call it, neoprene. Because I remember when my dad used to do like taekwondo and things, that's what you wore as pads. So it kind of made sense that it bulked them up a little bit. But also it did what the toys had done already by putting the emblem in the middle of their chest. And also it gave Tommy a morpher. Obviously this is the Kimberly one from the movie, and it always annoys me that the things are upside down. And it also annoyed me that they didn't actually open them up when they morphed. They had them in the little plastic holder. But obviously because Tommy was his suit was from Die Ranger, even though he had a morpher, when he was morphed, you didn't see it. So in the movie, they rectified it. So they changed a few things. I think it looked really good for the time. I know one thing that they wanted to do was, obviously they introduced things like, I think, was it Aisha's helmet, the eyes of the saber-toothed tiger, they had lights in them, and then Rocky's helmet had like a scanner in it. They wanted to create helmets where the visors could, I don't know if it was going to be digital or not, like went clear and then went back to the sort of black, because you wanted to be able to see the actors, even though they used stunt performers a lot. It's not something that you got to see in the TV show, so they were trying to think of ways of taking it from a TV show and upping the level a bit so that it was of a movie level. But I do remember one of the weirdest things, and I'm sure there's going to be stickers on it, is when we saw the villains. I liked the movie's take on Goldar. He was a bit cute rather than evil looking. But then there was a pig. Like, they got rid of Squat and Babu and they just introduced a pig, and I never understood what that was supposed to be. But I completely get the whole concept of bringing in a villain based on slime, because that was a very 90s thing. If you watched Nickelodeon, it was all about slime. If you were in the UK and you watched shows like Get Your Own Back, it was all about slime. So I get that, and I think the actor who played Ivan Ooze was brilliant. It's just a shame about the CG at the end. It wasn't good back then, and it obviously doesn't hold up today. But I always was confused by the movie back in the day, because the Turbo movie is canon. The original movie is not at all, because in the TV show they have their whole thing about they go and find Ninja and he gives them the ninja powers, whereas obviously in the movie it's completely different. And in fact, if you go back and watch some of my early videos, I talk about that in the Power Rangers movie game, Power Rangers the movie video games video, because Power Rangers the movie on the Mega Drive / Genesis is, in my mind, it's on par with the Mighty Morphin's Game Gear game. Game Gear had the best Power Rangers games, hands down. But I think my favourite is Power Rangers the movie on the Mega Drive Genesis. It's just an awesome game. I did a Let's Play of it very early on in this channel, but I wasn't very good. But if you haven't played it, I definitely recommend it. I remember there was a trailer for this on the VHS of the Page Master. So I was about to say, that's Macaulay Culkin. I haven't seen the movie, but I've seen them with Macaulay Culkin playing the game on, not Angry Video Game Nerd, but the Cinemassacre channel. It was the first good look I remember getting at what the movie would look like. Belmont GR, good evening. The CG fight. Yeah, the CG was the thing that let it down. Noel's House Party, also a lot of sliming. Definitely a UK thing. Mighty Not the Armadillo, good evening. Happy to have you on. In the movie universe, the Squat and Babu were killed when Zed arrived. Were they? Was that ever mentioned? I don't remember that. Did you see the Geek Critique reviews of the MMPR games? No, I haven't. I'll check those out. But yeah, the Power Rangers the movie game on Game Gear is kind of split. It starts off as the movie, and then it goes into season 2 of the TV show, and it gets a bit complicated. It's still a good game, but it's a bit all over the place. But I think they do it because I think you can go back and play as Jason and Trini and Zack, and so you also get Rocky, Aisha, and Adam. I assume that's why they did it. The Super Nintendo games were okay, and certainly the Super Nintendo version of the first game, as in from the TV show, was better than Game Gear, but Mega Drive, Genesis. But I still much prefer the Mega Drive Genesis movie game. Just a film theory. Okay, fair enough. But yeah, that was one thing that really confused me. And I don't know what that character was called, the pig. And yeah, I do like the way Guldar looked, but he definitely looked more cute than evil. But anyway, I'm going to put this album aside for a little bit, because we're going to start opening packs. We'll carry on chatting. I suppose I should start with the ones that are already... so much for opening that up. Okay. So we need to get the numbers. What is... Ah, yeah. So this is one of the standees. Speaking of Guldar, I'll zoom in on this, and then I'll get my very technical focusing tool. And we get him on there. Oh, wrong way. Cute Guldar. So he's our first standee. Let's bring the focus back. Okay, so I assume these just pop out. And then, ooh, fold over. Is that how that works? Well, in theory. It works. I mean, they're not very impressive, but they work. Goldar is going to go over here with Steve, the Lucky Charizard from our Pokemon Days streams. Okay, so let's start sorting. Let's start with the 10s, shall we? Here comes that pretty little pink ranger. You think she's cute too? Well, I mean, I'll put it out there. I've always said that Amy Jo Johnson was my first crush. Particularly so in the movie. Austin St. John was offered to do the first film, but turned it down because he wanted to be a bad guy. He said in interviews, do you think it would be... I haven't heard that before. I mean, obviously I know that he, Tui Trang, and Walter Emmanuel Jones wanted either more money or to unionize, or both, so they just shit-canned them. Excuse me, I'm not meant to be swearing on these streams. And then obviously, when they got rid of them, they started doing sort of the transfer of power, and clearly had people in costumes that weren't those actors, because their body types weren't the same at all. Have you seen the 2017 movie? Yeah, I've got a review on my channel. It was copyright claimed for a long time. In fact, not only is it a review of the movie, but it's also a review of... Oh, that's just fallen apart. The graphic novel, which serves as a sequel. So there is a sequel to the 2017 movie. And I suppose that it was meant to serve as a in-between story before the actual sequel that would have come, but won't come now, that was going to introduce Tommy. But it's like a... Yeah, it's a half in-between story where it's meant to be like Gold Dust, not the wrestler. Gold Dust from Goldar has started to infect other things, and it's creating like mutants. I don't think it was particularly successful, but yeah, if you go watch, you can find it on my channel. You can go watch me review the 2017 movie with the deleted scenes and also talking about the graphic novel. Yeah, I didn't think it was a very good film, to be honest. There were a couple of things I liked in it, but a lot of it just didn't make sense. What I did like is, obviously, one of the biggest problems with trying to understand Zordon is where he is and when, because he's in a time warp. So, is he physically somewhere? And he's clearly not physically in a tube. And then this movie from 1995 made it really confusing because he probably was physically in the tube, because Ivan starts breaking the command center and there he is just lying there on some crystals. Don't really know why. But I like the idea that Zordon is dead, but that his consciousness has been uploaded to the ship, so he can live on, but it's sort of in a digital form, and he is physically in the command center, sort of, even though he doesn't have a physical body. His consciousness is physically somewhere because it's in the ship. You preferred the 2017 one? I do think it had its moments, but it wasn't that good. And I like the idea that Rita was the original Green Ranger, because in the TV show they talk about Zordon having warriors. Like, they use footage from Zyuranger, and they explain that Rita had been defeating Zordon and his warriors for 10,000 years prior. But they never really explain... Well, they say that she took the sword, the Green Ranger sword, as sort of spoils of war kind of thing. But she doesn't really... It never explains how she got the power coin and where the Green Ranger came from. Not really. But I like the idea that the Power Rangers are aliens and that Rita was the Green Ranger, but she went evil, and, you know, whatever the script was going to say in the sequel would happen with Tommy and how he'd get the Green Ranger powers. But there was a lot that I didn't like with Rita, not least the scene where she... Well, firstly, what they're after is under a Krispy Kreme, and then they make a scene where she's literally just standing in a Krispy Kreme, indulging in a donut. And yeah, no. But they added a few... I can't remember exactly, but I remember there was something about Billy's character or his backstory that I felt made more sense. Modern Power Rangers feels cheaper than it did before. It is a bigger... I agree, and this is something that I think I said it last week, and it's something that I'm going to really point out in the Aber Ranger and Dino Thunder review, is that sort of through the 80s and 90s, because it was based on, you know, proper tokusatsu and not using CG, they used props that were actual props. Sorry, let me lower the microphone because I'm probably peaking a bit. They used props that actually looked pretty good. And then, obviously, when it came to toys, they created a toy version. Obviously, this isn't a prop. This is a toy, technically. But they used stuff that actually looked like it could be real. And obviously, even though you knew it was a person in a suit, using the... Well, actually, no, the sort of transformation sequences of the Zords weren't somebody in a suit. Those looked real. I mean, like I say, I'm currently rewatching Zyuranger because I was going to do a proper review comparing Mighty Morphin Season 1 and Zyuranger, which is something I didn't do the first time around. And it still holds up. It still looks good. But a lot of the time now, the props look like toys. I mean, I haven't seen Super Megaforce, but I have seen the whole, the little toy figures and things. Was that Megaforce or Super Megaforce? They don't look like they could be a real thing, and then they made a toy version of it. It looks just like they use the toys in the show. It's more kiddie. Possibly the most forced product placement I've seen in a movie. I don't know. There's a lot of forced product placement in a movie. I mean, Power Rangers certainly wasn't unique in that. One of the things I hated about the reboot of... Where am I putting the 20s? Have I got all these mixed up? Yes, I have. The reboots of the James Bond movies is because it was Sony Pictures. Everything had to be Sony or Vio branded. And because they had deals with car companies, everything had to be, I think, a Ford or a division of Ford. And because they owned like Aston Martin back then they could get away with it. But they shoehorned in all these cars and all these products. And then obviously You had, I think in Casino Royale, you had the scene at the airport and the plane that he's trying to catch up with is a Virgin Atlantic, and you've got Branson going through security there as a cameo. One of the coolest things about the original MMPR show was that it was the first time I can remember kids getting screen-accurate replicas props. The morphers, etc. Well, that's an exception, because one thing that I'm definitely noticing from watching it back now is that the dino bucklers that they use in Zyuranger were props, actual props, but the morphers that they used in Power Rangers were toys. That is one exception. Obviously, they still looked pretty decent, but I'm 90% sure that in the first season of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the morphers weren't props. They were the Japanese toy that had had the stickers removed and then new Power Rangers stickers like placed on the red band. Because if you look at it, first of all, this is a bad example of this because this is the movie Morpher, but in the show, these lightning bolts are when they're wearing them, because it's the Zyuranger footage, and they're not actual morphers, they're like molded rubber. These are black, and then obviously you have a band which has Power Rangers, and the toy had Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. But when they film scenes with the morphers, there are no stickers here. They're silver, and then you got Power Rangers, and then the coins are not the medallions that they had in Zyuranger. They're the plastic toy coins, because when you see close-ups of them, you see the little plastic clips where you put it in and you turn it. So they were just the toys. Dino Fury and its keys are only 2 centimeters thick. I haven't watched Dino Thunder yet, but yeah, certainly a lot of the morphers and things now, I mean, like I say, it was a toy in Mighty Morphin, but it looked close enough to the Zyuranger prop, whereas now it's just toys. I've probably not got very neat piles going on. Hopefully no one's got OCD on the stream. The cast crew member would routinely lose them, so they just go by. Well, that's the advantage, and that's what they do in WWE now. You know, with the belts, because back in the day, you know, you'd have one, maybe two. You'd have one that would be the one that goes to TV tapings, and then you might have one that be used for like photo shoots and things, one so it would look a bit nicer. Nowadays, they'll have like multiple versions of the belt, and sometimes they'll just go out and get a replica off the merch stand. Like, I've seen, I think it was The Miz at WrestleMania even. He went out with a replica that you could just buy off the merch stand. And sometimes in house shows now, they'll just use like a replica because it's less wear and tear on the actual belts. What would you rate the recent Rumble? It was bad. It was so boring. I mean, obviously, I run a channel called Pomelo Retro, and I do videos, you know, on wrestling from... Oh, I've mixed all these up now. I do videos of wrestling from the Attitude Era and things, and I'll get accused of, you know, being too nostalgic. But I maintain that it was just better. However, I'm not a fanboy, and I'm not going to get into, you know, franchise wars, because they don't exist anymore. It's not WWE, WWF versus WCW anymore, but AEW, it is just better. AEW is wrestling, and WWE is entertainment. Actually, you asked me about the Royal Rumble. It's still better than the sort of cinematic matches they were doing during the lockdowns. Like, was it Money in the Bank where they did it, where you're basically running around the whole headquarters, and then they had the thing where Rey Mysterio essentially fell to his death off the roof. That was pretty bad. I mean, at that point, it wasn't even sports entertainment. At that point, it was just stunts. It was just a bad movie at that point. Okay. I know. Badly organized piles. I'll try a bit better. Hang on. Bear with me. Let's clean this up a little bit. Bossman was once... Okay, Rob 322. What's that, Stevie? Do you think WrestleMania would be good? Reigns for Lesnar again. Booed out the building. I mean, I'm liking the rejuvenated Lesnar. He looks like he's having fun, which is something he never used to do. But I'm not enjoying WWE's product, and I haven't done it for a long time. I was starting to get a little bit into NXT when it had the feel of you know, sort of small time, almost ECW, small audience, and then they went and ruined it. You don't see the appeal of wrestling. It's storytelling. I mean, that's the thing. Some people like sports. Some people find sports boring. When it comes to wrestling, it's just storytelling. If you like the concept of, you know, long form storytelling, that's all it is. And then you add in, like, essentially circus acts almost. It's a soap opera with gymnastics, and depending on the product, a little bit of violence as well. Opinion on MMA. Oh, I had an extra M then, didn't I? Because I've got this slight delay in my headphones. Honestly, I have no interest. I appreciate it. I appreciate the skill involved, but it's like boxing. I don't really care about boxing. Don't hate it. Got nothing against it, but it's not my thing. A live weekly action movie. Kind of, but it's more like a soap opera because it's a serial. It just keeps going. If wrestling was played more like a comedy show, well, it doesn't exist anymore. However, there was a promotion in Japan, which I'm trying to remember what it's called. I mention it in my 5 times wrestling and Power Rangers crossed over. There is mention of a promotion in Japan. It's gone now, but the whole concept was that it was essentially played out like a tokusatsu. They had an evil monster army bad guys ring, and then the wrestlers were the good guys, And then you even had some Power Rangers inspired wrestlers, and that was the whole idea. It was meant to be this cheesy, campy take on kind of like Power Rangers, but it was wrestling. But you had these characters that weren't actual wrestlers. Well, they were wrestlers, obviously, but they were playing out like they were superheroes. But they got in big name wrestlers from around the world. So they got the Dudley Boys occasionally, and they got Tajiri, obviously he's a Japanese wrestler, and then they had these well-known indie wrestlers, but then they put them in this Power Rangers inspired stable. Let me get the name of it. One sec. Where's my mouse? Because if that's what you're into, then I'd give it a go, because not all franchises take themselves seriously. Obviously, there aren't. Well, then arguably there's more franchises now than there used to be, but it's not like the WCW, ECWDs. Days, I can't speak tonight. Let me find the video that I did, because I'm going to do another one at some point. I've got another list. I've got another 5 times Power Rangers and wrestling crossed over. 175, 1257. Shikara. No, I don't think it was called that. Pride FC, if you want pro wrestling versus jiu-jitsu versus kickboxing. So is that like MMA, or is it? Where are we? So yeah, Ronda Rousey had her suit. New Day. And of course it's in Japanese, and I've got the audio turned off, so I have no idea. Basically, after this stream, go and watch my 5 times that Power Rangers crossed over with wrestling, and it's the number 1 on the list. And it's every week the story played out like it was a Power Rangers story. It was kind of like, rather than Vince McMahon, you'd have this evil Sentai type character and his band of minions, and that was the good guys versus the faces versus heels. How many tabs I have open? It's not how many tabs I have open, it's how many screens I have. I currently have 4 screens, and actually no, it's more than that, because I have my camera here with the screen that I can see myself. Got camera up there with the screen on it. I've got a screen over here which is split into 2. I've got a screen in front of me which has like the YouTube studio on it. I've got a screen over here which has OBS on it, and then I have a screen up here with the OBS stats and the live stream, so I can see what you're seeing. So 4 big screens, 2 small screens on the camera, and some of the screens are split into 2. So not so much the tabs, more the amount of screens that's going on. So much so that the one up there with the current live output on YouTube and the stats occasionally goes black, which I'm guessing is my graphics card sort of having a little heart attack. Oh, they're stuck together. The glue on the stickers is obviously better than the glue on the packs. 70s. Actually, not to mention that there's also another little screen down here, because to get my music playing in the background without you also getting my desktop audio, in case like I get notifications and so, I have to have a little old iPod Touch. That's the music is playing through an old iPod Touch, so I technically have a little one down here as well. Who do you think had the most success after Power Rangers? That's a difficult one, actually. Because, I mean, obviously, Jason David Frank has had a lot of success off the back of Power Rangers in terms of his sort of going around on the Comic-Con scene and things, but that they all do. And then he's done MMA, and he's got his MMA gear company called Jesus Didn't Tap. But I mean, he hasn't had a lot of mainstream success. I don't know, really. There haven't been a lot of people that have had like major success, really. I don't think. None that I can think of it, anyway. But if anyone knows, let me know. These streams should be dedicated to the graphics card. Yes. While you're on the topic of 90s wrestling, I think an interesting topic for you to cover would be how you influenced by tokusatsu the outfits of many of the WCW cruiserweights used to be. Well, yeah, I mean, who was it that somebody mentioned Lucha Underground? Was it? Oh yes, Hustle. Was that it? That might have been it. Might have been Hustle. Obviously, yeah, Lucha, or just Mexican wrestling in general, and then WCW. That was why WCW was sort of as successful as it was, because it had the sort of NWO big name stuff, but they had a fantastic undercard with all their cruiserweights. Because even if you're not into wrestling, even if you're not into the storylines, or even damn packet's falling apart. Look at that. Just the athleticism is impressive. It's a gymnastics, it's a circus performance. Oh yeah, Amy Jo Johnson was on a series, wasn't she? And she played a cop in something. Depends on how you measure success. I guess so. Is Lucha Underground still going? I will say that at some point I'll be doing a video on my favourite belt designs. And the old Lucha Underground title I absolutely loved. The whole sort of Aztec themed belt. However, I'm having to purge some of my belt collection because, well, first of all, this little studio can only handle so much stuff, and it's money sat on a shelf that realistically I need to sell to try and keep this channel going. So I'm going to keep a few. My which side is it? My hardcore belt, that's going to stay, and the winged eagle that it was designed on, and then a couple of others, but then the rest are going to go. Lucha Ground is over. Ah. I'm sure Tony Khan will pick a few up if he hasn't already. Flashpoint. Was that the name of the show? Like Pacific Rim. I'm not sure I've seen it. Oh no, I have. But I've only ever seen it once, and it was only kind of half watching while I was working. So I mentioned it last week. Because of the pandemic, like all physical events and things for the video game industry were all cancelled. And then that meant that, and obviously the PR events were cancelled too. So everything went digital. And my job was the digital marketing. So I'd end up doing ridiculous hours, and I'd have things on in the background. So I think I had Pacific Rim on in the background because I can't work in silence. So I've seen it and I think I liked it, but I don't know if I was giving it my full attention. But I do know that there's... I forget the name of the company. There's a company that does, like, cheap rip-offs of movies. I think they've got one called Atlantic Rim, which is meant to be good, but in a bad way. 2 Power Rangers PS1 games. I'm not sure I remember the PS1 games. What series were they? I should be working, but here we are. Where are you watching us from, John? I'm dropping these all over the place. Del Toro. I mean, I imagine they're going to try and reboot it again, as in, like, the movies. As long as they don't rely so heavily on CG. Dino Thunder. Was Dino Thunder on PS1? Because I've got it on the PS2 and the GameCube, and it will feature in the Dino Thunder vs. Abaranger video. But if there's a PS1 version I need to know about, I might need to add that into the script. Wish 2017 was more like Pacific Rim. I mean, I'm sure you could do like a... Even if it wasn't called Power Rangers, I'm sure you could do like a Pacific Rim style Power Rangers in everything but name. I mean, with the success of Marvel, not just in terms of movies, I mean, obviously, ever since the pandemic, digital content in general, TV series, has just increased massively. So I wouldn't be surprised if they tried to do a TV show of, maybe not Power Rangers exactly, but something similar. You know, something Power Rangers in everything but name. But it's difficult because a lot of production companies went into safety mode. So I'll mention it now. So when I was at Ubisoft, they came up with this concept called GTV. It initially called UBTV, and it became GTV. And the whole idea was that they were going to do gaming TV. And I was the guy that was going to develop it for the UK. They'd already started trialling it in France and Germany. Very different approaches to it in those two countries. And I came up with a whole concept for it, which was basically going to do like a Top Gear for video games. You know, I'd worked for the Top Gear live arena show for 3 years, and I'd written script for the boys, and I produced stuff with the Stig and so on. And I developed this idea that would be a TV show like Top Gear, but rather than cars, using video games. And in the end, when it came down to it, I was sort of presenting what my idea was for GTV would be, and our managing director loved it, but the head office in France wanted something completely different, and I said no, I don't want to do it, and I didn't trust them to do it properly. So they hired someone else, and they did it their way, and it's failed massively. So I took the idea and ran with it, left the company, developed it into, well, this one's got 2 standees in it, what would be a completely standalone TV show and presented it to a few networks here in the UK, and it was going quite well. But then when the pandemic hit, they basically said, we don't want to take risks on anything. We want safe content. We want stuff that is X celebrity does this. So it's been in my back pocket for a year now. Speaking to some people that might be able to try and fund a pilot for us. So that's going to be one of my projects. You know, I mentioned on those videos that at the end of the year, last year, that YouTube is one of the projects that I'm working on. One of the other things is the children's book that I wrote. Because I wrote that, and then we went into this whole thing of ridiculous working hours during the pandemic, and I couldn't do anything with it. But now I've left. It's been self-published, but in small numbers. You can get it on the website, on the Pomelo Pictures website, and you can get the digital version, the ebook, on our Teespring store. I think both links are in the description below. But I'll be sending those out to publishing houses and literary agents this year as well. So there's lots of things going on. And obviously, there's going to be loads of stuff on this channel. Yeah. So Down of Thunder was on Game Boy Advance, GameCube, and PS2. So that will be featuring in the the Down of Thunder versus Aber Ranger video, because I tend to talk about the games as well. Because there was an Aber Ranger game, I believe, if I remember in the script. I haven't got to that bit in my editing yet. Which is why the entertainment industry is dying. Do you mean in terms of safe content? Yeah, well, kind of. It's not off the table. It's not off the table at all. We've written essentially 6 to 8 episodes, and I know he's doing G4, but the guy that sat opposite me at Ubisoft is very good friends with Austin Creed, Xavier Woods. And, you know, he does a lot with gaming. He's got Up, Down, Down. He's doing G4. But we were floating the idea that he was going to be one of the presenters. So we'll see. It may still happen. We don't know. Right now, it's in a position where all the market research was done, the episodes were written, the budgets were done. We had people that wanted to sponsor the show. They don't want to give money to produce it, but once it's produced, they want to sponsor it. Now it's just... Well, there's one or two things we can do. We can either find someone that's willing to put up the money to produce it, or we can find the funding to make it ourselves. So I've got a production company that I worked with when we were doing videos for Top Gear Live, a Dutch company that I would be working with. And then we've got obviously potential sponsors. We've got the whole concept of the show written out, but we would need to raise the capital to make the show. But once it's made, it's an easy sell then, because the content, the hard work is done. But then it all comes into who owns what rights and so on. I'm not going to go into it now because it's a whole thing. But we'll see. It's not off the table, and as I say, it can be one of my main focuses now, because I left my full-time job. So I need to make the most of it. You know, I've got probably a year, maybe 2, to make this channel work. Anyone see the knockoff toys? I mean, there were plenty of knockoff toys, like in the 90s. But are we talking about something that's just come out now? Safe content is only safe because it won't be good or bad. It won't really lose it. That's it. It wasn't about making something successful. It's just that people were consuming. Because we were in lockdown. It was just about creating content. A knockoff video would be so much fun. I think... In fact, let me just check. I might have already started writing that video. I believe I have a video of not necessarily knockoff toys exactly, but Power Rangers knockoffs. Let me get my schedule up here. Because I think I put that down. I think I've written... Well, I've written what I needed to research on it. If I can get it up here. Tattooed Teenage Fighters from Beverly Hills. I seem to remember that name. That might have been on there. Where are we? Yeah. Power Rangers knockoffs is a video that I've started researching. I've got it here in my schedule. VR Trooper figures. I didn't know they made those. Hang on, let me catch up with the chat. Aquabats. I haven't heard of those. But yeah, if you could see the spreadsheet that I've got open now with all of the videos that have been researching and scripts that are half done. And that was the problem. Like, up until last year, I had so many scripts that were just half done. But it means now I've got the time to work on them. So once Abba Ranger, Dino Thunder vs Abba Ranger is done, there are so many that I can dive straight into. Stuff to do with Power Rangers, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, wrestling, toys. Obviously we've got... I've got no Pokemon videos. I've just got the Pokemon streams. But we were going to do a video on Digimon. Because Digimon is a series that I feel kind of passed me by. I did watch some of it, but I've completely forgotten what most of it was about. And obviously there were games, but most of them were Japanese RPGs only, and they were never translated. I think they were on the WonderSwan. 76. Where are we? Got 4 packs left. So 60s, 40s, 100s, 73, 54. I mean, talking of knockoffs, we are going to be doing a video on Street Sharks at some point. For the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles set. And at some point, I'd like to start doing a video podcast. Biker Mice from Mars is coming on the channel. Don't worry about that. That's on the list. At some point, the plan was to do a video podcast. So I put pictures of it on the community page, and I think on my social media as well, that I've squeezed in a set. So you can't really see, but this is only 190 square feet. Meters? I can't remember. 190 square feet, I think, this room. But it's got... So this set here, which is my streaming set, with the sort of neon sign that's not neon, it's an LED. But then behind that screen... can you see it on the... No, you can't. Just behind that is the arcade machine, which is where the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle set is, and the CRT is literally just behind me, which is the one where you see in the background. And then over to my right, over there, is a piece of canvas with the brick effect on it, which is kind of like became the staple of my old setup. That's now the wrestling setup with the wrestling, where the wrestling belts hang. Then just beyond that is the bookshelves that curve around, which is my main set where I do the Power Rangers videos, where I did Godzilla, Spider-Man, channel updates, that kind of thing. And then to the left of that is just bookcases, and I put a desk there. I've got 2 broadcast mics, I've got a podcasting mixer, and the idea would be to do a video podcast with my wife, or anyone that would be interested to do it, talking about 80s, 90s, maybe noughties movies. And obviously one of them we would probably discuss is Power Rangers the movie. However, as you will have heard from the channel updates, we don't really know what's going on in terms of our personal lives, shall we say. So I don't know if that's going to happen, and I would be well up for doing it if I found another presenter. But where I currently live, I don't really know anyone. Certainly no one that's into the stuff that we talk about on this channel as much as I am. Do you ever think Blake Foster Justin would ever return to a future series? If he did, he'd be bursting out of the suit, because he's an MMA fighter now and he's huge. Do you think that Digimon is more of a tokusatsu than just Pokemon ripoff? I mean, it's a good discussion point. I mean, there's certainly a case for that. I would say that in terms of Pokemon ripoffs, the most, I don't know if I'd say egregious, but Invisimals, which is something I am going to be doing a stream on. That, at least that had something unique going on. That was Pokemon Go before Pokemon Go. And it's on the PSP. I think there were 3 games on the PSP, and then there was a Vita version. And the whole idea is that they're invisible, and you have to use these traps to find them. And it's augmented reality, and it has Brian Blessed in it. And there's a video of it on my channel. Again, early days, so the production value is not the best. But Invisibles was really interesting, and there was a trading card game. But they did it slightly differently, and they did something that I think was better than what Power Rangers, Pokemon did, because Pokemon use the term evolve when they mean metamorphosis. Obviously, evolve is an easier word, because it doesn't evolve, it metamorphosizes when it gets to a certain level. But Invisimals didn't call it, going from, say, Charmander, Charmeleon, Charizard. They would go like Charizard, Pup form, Colt form, and Max form, which made more sense, but means that there's fewer characters to sell merch of. But they had my favourite one, possibly of any like Pokemon, Digimon, whatever you want to called Tiger Shark. Google Invisimals Tiger Shark. It's basically just a tiger and a shark combined. And I love it. The simplicity of it and the stupidness of it, I absolutely love. Right. Before we start going through these stickers, let's just go through this massive pile of standees. Because I imagine we've got a whole set here, because there's only 18 of them. They're so good if you haven't seen them. Cybertronic Spree. Oh, sorry. I'll have to check them out. No, don't worry about flooding the chat. Oh yeah, they're actually numbered, so that makes these easier. So we got Ivan Ooze's egg. We got Rita Repulsa, obviously not the original actress, but still looks pretty decent. We got Rocky doing a very high kick in some very white shorts. We got the movie version of Alpha. We've got the Tengus. 8. We got Ninja Tommy. We've got Morphed Kimberly. We got Zed. Interestingly called Zed and not Z, even though it's American. Loads of duplicates. Rita. Okay, Tommy. Come on, get rid of him. Zed again. Rita. Oh, we got Adam. Got Morphed Adam, Kimberly, and Tommy. Morphed Rocky, Aisha, and Billy. 4. Another one of them. Billy. Morphed Billy. Cute Goldar. Kimberly. Billy. Ivan. Number 18. Oh, this is... I haven't got a big enough desk for all this. We got Morphed Adam. Morphed Rocky. Let's create 3 lines now. If I can see over the microphone. Ivan's egg. Again. Alpha. Kimberly. Adam. Okay. Morphed Aisha. Adam. Tommy. Rocky. Put Rocky on the Z. Rita. Kimberly. Z. Loads of duplicates. There are only 18 of them. Z. But do I have a full set? That's the one thing that I'm... Out of all these, I don't even know if I've got a full set. Oh, we got Unmorphed Kimberly in hot pants. Always a good one to have. Ah, yes. Excuse me one sec. Always happens. I mean, I understand when people do streams, people like to jump in and troll. But it's a bit sad, isn't it? Excuse me while I just ban and report. Do you think the Ninja Zord was a good Megazord? It didn't have a power sword like it did in the movie, it just had a punch wrist. I mean, I quite liked some of the Ninja Zords. Not necessarily the Megazord. But there's a guy... I don't know how I found him. But he's got a Patreon. And he makes... so you can't see me going through these. He makes modern day CG versions of Megazords. And he's done ones of the original Mighty Morphin. He did... let me think. In Space, Turbo, and Ninja. And they're really good. I mean, obviously, you know, they weren't CG to begin with, but they're really good. And there's a video that I've been wanting to do for a long time about a sort of fan film that I've been writing. And I'd certainly use him to do the CG on it, because it's really good. I don't think I have a full set. Or do I? Oh, no, wait, maybe I do. So number 1 was Adam, Kimberly, and Tommy morphed. Number 2, Rocky, Aisha, and Billy. Number 3, Rita. 4, Lord Zed. 5, Kimberly. 6, Rocky. 7, Tommy. 8, Tengus. No, I don't have number 9. Number 10 was Ivan's Egg. 11 was Alpha. 12, Tommy morphed. 13, Kimberly morphed. 14, Aisha morphed. 15, Billy morphed. 16, Adam morphed. 17, Rocky morphed. And 18, Ivan. What was number 9? What am I missing? Number 9 is... Oh wait, Guldar. Oh! I do have a full set. I just hadn't put Guldar there because I'd already got him out. Okay. You might see a couple of these little standees in the next video. I'm going to put those on my shelf behind my chair. If you complete this album tonight, are you going to rap and then give it to me? I don't know if she'd appreciate a complete Power Ranger sticker album. However, she does love stickers. I just don't think Power Ranger stickers are her thing. But I'm spending Valentine's Day with all of you, because Valentine's Day is on a Monday, I'm pretty sure. So we're doing Pokemon Mondays on Valentine's Day. But I might as well tell you now, there won't be a stream for Retro Wednesdays on the 16th, because that is her birthday, and that's why we don't do Valentine's Day, because her birthday is 2 days later. So, if I was looking at the schedule, I've got it over here. Yeah. Monday the 14th, we're doing Pokemon Mondays. So, you and I get to spend Valentine's Day together. And she'll just be on the stream with us all, I guess. Alright, let's get sticking. I'll try and get these straight without the microphone blocking my view. But of course we start with a half sticker. I'm hoping these are cut a little bit straighter than the Mighty Morphin ones, because the Mighty Morphin ones were terrible. But then it gave me an excuse. If these don't go in straight, it's all my fault. There are fewer though. I think there's... How many stickers are in this set? 180. So there's about, what, 45 less? 45 fewer than the Mighty Morphin one? Although it was a whole series and this is just a movie. Fave Megazord has to be the OG, it's a classic. Well, I mean... I think in terms of Zords, my favourite is still the original. But in terms of Megazords, I really like the first in space Megazord. Because the problem is, with the Zords, a lot of the time they just skip through to Megazord anyway. But at least with In Space, it was just made up of the two ships. So you didn't need to waste time, like, wondering what the other Zords did. I love Titan Power Rangers. I literally might just try out for it one day, even just a monster voice. Oh, that'd be cool. In fact, I mean, obviously now that I've left, one of the things that I'm focusing on is trying to sort of branch out as much as possible. I have done like a couple of auditions for voice acting. I think there was a video game where I applied for 2 different characters. One was like a robot with it had an American accent, which I can just about do. Sort of generic, not necessarily a regional one. And then obviously it was digitized and then made to sound like a robot. And then the other one was like a proper Cockney. I think it was a fighting game, and it was a rooster. Now I'm not Cockney, but I can just about put it on enough. Hang on, I need to zoom out a bit, don't I? Because I'm still zoomed in from when I was showing you Guldar. Let me zoom out, because otherwise you can't see the album properly. Thundersword had a really interesting way of combining. I don't really remember. Well, I mean, I remember Thunderzord. Oh, it's because the Dragonzord became like a humanoid, didn't it? And then it almost put boots on. Am I remembering that correctly? Astro Megazord was the cleanest design. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Red Dragon was the base, and then everyone's armor parts. So he sort of like jumped into boots, and then they layered armor on top, didn't they? I didn't like the way in Zeo, like, some Zords were there just as, like, they sort of pulled the Zords along. It was a bit unimaginative. Like, they came up with some Zords that were interesting, and then the rest were literally just there to drag the other ones along. Oh wait, does this have the story? The plane is now over its target. The door opens. 4 seconds to launch. 3, 2, 1. 6 colourful parachutists jump from the plane, performing amazing stunts while descending to the ground. Hooray! Cheers the crowd gathered below for the Angel Grove Fair. Oh, that's quite cool. So this acts as a storybook. The parachutists are recognised by everyone. It's them, the Power Rangers. Well, that doesn't make sense. People don't recognise them as the Power Rangers. Aisha, Billy, Adam, Rocky, Kimberly, and Tommy. The big launch is... a big lunch is what's needed now, shouts Tommy, while all 6 of them race up. I can't do this with a delay in my headphones. Hang on, let me turn that down. Race off on roller skates towards the restaurant. At a construction site not far from Angel Grove Park, something very strange is happening. While digging, some of the workers find a mysterious steel lid. As soon as the heavy cover is taken off, a stone hand holding a large pink egg comes up from the ground. That's so much better without the delay. The only thing is I can't hear the music and things if I turn it down. What is this? This is 6 to 16. Okay, so they're duplicates. 15, 16, 10, 13, 12. Did I already put 15 down? Yes, I did. 11, 12, 14. Wasn't the Thunder Megazord also the one that combined with the giant turtle? Yes, I believe so. And in the Sentai, he was a character. Like, he was a person that was also a Zord, if I remember correctly. In O-Ranger. And then it was the same with Titanus. In the Mighty Morphin series. And I said this on the last stream. For some reason, I can't remember why, I ended up with the toy of Titanus, but not Megazord. But I love Titanus. Again, one that was underutilized, because he had massive cannons and things, but he was just something that they pretty much stood on top of for the final blow to the bad guy. 12. There's a lot of white space on these stickers, but it's because they've put this like coloured film reel things on each side. Yeah, they more sort of stood on them than combined with them. But I believe, I can't remember the name of it, but the turtle, he did have a purpose as well in terms of like, I can't remember if it was in Zeo or where they only did it in O-Ranger. They could get inside him, and the whole point was because he was a turtle, he was armoured. So, oh, I've already done 12. Yeah, he could provide some protection for them. That's right, it was Die Ranger. Yeah, not O-Ranger, what am I talking about? Yeah, it's the Yellow Ranger from Jetman. Which is still one of the things about Jetman that I stand by. The blue and yellow Rangers in Jetman were the nicest characters, and yet they were the least explored. Yeah, I do remember Titanus came back, didn't it? Probably because by season 3 they were running out of ideas. And running out of ways to make the footage work. Because obviously they had Zoo 2 or Zhu 2 or whatever, however you want to pronounce it, where they'd got the commissioned footage from Japan and then they had to change it to work when they started using the Thunderswords. Oh wow, so that's really out of line, isn't it? It's strange to think just how big Power Rangers was. Like, when you think about it now, it will never be as big as it was. Would you be against reviewing Kamen Rider? So, I've said this on other streams, and I've asked this on the community pages as well. Absolutely not. I would be very much up for it, but I know nothing about it. So it's kind of like, well, where do I start? I've been sent some Kamen Rider stuff since the last stream, or no, since Monday on Pokemon Days, which was a more modern series, and I've been asking, well, what's a good place to start? Some people were saying, is it Kugo? Is that how you pronounce it? But yeah, I will be doing something at some point on it, but I'm a little bit lost on where to start with it, because obviously since doing the Spider-Man video, I've realised just how tied in they all are. So I would probably go back to it at some point. When is my merch available? As in Pomelo Retro merch? It's available right now. There's a link in the description, I believe, isn't there? Hang on, let me... in fact, yeah, well, I mean, it's advertised right below. I mean, they've got some of the logo tees, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles one, the Power Rangers inspired ones. But yeah, if you go to the description below the video and you just click on Pomelo Retro merchandise available here, and I've actually got my own custom URL now. I should probably change that, but it's all there. Oh, what number sticker was this? 6. Since KR got mentioned, care to share any viewing progress? No details, just where you're at right now. In terms of where I am in terms of viewing it, it's more not so much viewing progress because I've been working on the next Power Rangers versus Sentai video, and I've been working on. Oh, damn, I don't have number 17, or do I? Because I thought it's just 16, and lots of other videos. So videos that I'd previously started, like I was saying earlier. So Kamen Rider is on my list for something to do in the future, and I've downloaded quite a few series. I've got Black RX, Cougar. Someone sent me, I can't remember what series it was. Somebody sent me a series on Monday. So I've got maybe 5 seasons now, but I haven't started watching them yet. I want to do Black RX versus Master Rider at some point, because I'd like to, because obviously I'd mentioned it very briefly in the Kaku Ranger versus MMPR Season 3 video, because those early videos were much shorter. And I just mentioned that it was black, and then everybody jumped on me saying it was Black RX. So I'd love to jump into that, but I think I'd have asking everybody whether I need to watch Black first. It's kind of a yes and no. It's not essential, but it will help. So that will be something that takes quite a long time to write the script of, because you got to watch Black RX, which you're then writing a script on, if not also writing a script on Black, and then also writing a script on Master Rider. But I have all 3. I've downloaded all 3. I've got Black, I've got Black RX, and I've got Master Rider, the whole series. Yeah, Cougar, if that's how it's pronounced. I have no idea how it's pronounced. I'm guessing it's Cougar with 2 U's. I've downloaded that because that's, well, I think I either did a poll or I asked people's opinions on the sort of community pages on YouTube of sort of like, where's a good place to start, and quite a few people had said Cougar was a good place to start. Tell you what, so far I've got a lot of spares, which might actually go towards making some money back on these streams after seeing how much individual stickers are. 20, 22, 20, 28, 26, 24, 22, 20, 27, 25, 29, 20, 22, 24, 25, 29, 26, 20, 22, 23. Cougar. Okay, good. It is that right. Kamen Rider Ryuki versus Kamen Rider Dragon Knight. I think that's come up before. Someone mentioned it. Is that a more modern one? I don't think I've downloaded those yet, but I think someone has mentioned that before. And then there's also, I think there was an American Sega CD game. Who would I like to interview apart from David Yost? Well, I mean, Jason David Frank would be a good one. Walter Emmanuel Jones looks like, in interviews that I've seen with him, he looks like he's always quite informative. Like he's quite animated. Like he doesn't give basic answers. Ryuki was 2002. Oh, so is that 2008? So there's quite a lot of time difference between the two. I need to turn my headphones down. While everyone is wondering what is inside the pink egg, an evil group is plotting in the dark. Zed, not Z, Goldar and Rita are together again. Even though the site is closely guarded, the three villains find a way to get in. At last I found you, Zed says. I'm not going to try and do it in Zed's voice. As he cracks the egg and a sticky pink... Full stop. Okay. Sticky pink substance, I'm guessing, flows out and slowly takes on the form of the terrible Ivan Ooze. We've brought you back to life, said Zed, and now you must destroy Zordon so that evil can rule again. Did it rule once? Well, you know, Zordon was defeated. But then Rita was put in the space dumpster. Whatever a space dumpster is. Zed did look a lot better in the movie. Obviously, you know, in the TV show he was terrifying when he was first brought in. But the movie costume, that was one that benefited from the bigger budget. And like I say, cute Goldar. But then again, the Goldar suit was partly broken anyway. The mouth was broken when it first came over. I'm assuming I saw this movie in the theatres when it first came out. I don't remember seeing it in the theatres, but I must have done. I'm sure I would have dragged my dad to it, and he probably fell asleep in it. I remember him falling asleep in the Pokemon movie. I remember that. The movie where you got Ancient Mew as a Pokemon card. Oh, there you go. Cute Goldar. Is that coming through on that? Yes, it is. Actually, saying cute Goldar, his red eyes are terrifying. 22. $24 people in the stream so far. If you haven't already, let me know. Let me know where you are in the world. It's always nice to know where people are. We've got people in the UK, in America, in Indonesia. On Monday we had people from Argentina, from Germany. Cornwall, very specific. If I knew anything in Cornish, I would say it now, but I don't. Did you ever notice that Goldar's voice was different at first, and why did his face turn blue? I'm not sure why his face turned blue, but throughout the first season, his voice changes a lot. Like, I think it was 2 or 3 different actors. Ugh. Hate harp stickers. Los Angeles. Oh, thanks, Timothy. There's plenty more of that to come, and not just Power Rangers or Sentai. Obviously, I've done the Spider-Man video. I've done the difference between the Japanese, US, and Italian Godzillas. And there's a few other things up my sleeve as well. Here he is. The half-naked pig. Not Ivan. The actual pig. Whatever his name was. Come on, you half-sticker. Am I missing 21? Is that the one I'm missing so far? Ah, poop. We're missing 21. So we're not going to be able to complete the album. Ah, well. Choosing to believe his pudgy pig's relative is called Mordant? From Germany. Where are we? Moving into the 30s. Ivan does not waste any time. He enters the control center and destroys it. Is it not the command center? As well as the Zordon time warp. Definitely not a time warp if he's able to... I mean, if he destroys the time warp and it frees Zordon, that's a good thing. When the Power Rangers arrive, they find their friend terribly aged. Is he terribly aged? I mean, he looks old, but he doesn't look terribly aged. And almost dying. All their powers have been destroyed, together with the control center. With a faint voice, Zordon tells them what's happened. 6,000 years ago. So, since Rita was put in the space dumpster? Ivan Ooze, a creature capable of changing appearance, ruled planet Earth. Did he? With the ancient Egyptians, okay. With terror and destruction, I managed to defeat him and locked him in a high-security capsule. He likes doing that, doesn't he? But now Ivan has come back and intends to become master of the world again. $37, $34, $32, oh, $34 again, and again, $36, $32 again, $36, $32, $35, $37, $36, $35, $33. Ooh, I think we're missing a few here. 30. Yeah, we're missing quite a few. Oh no, these go into the 40s. But we're definitely missing 38 and 39. 40. And what's even more annoying, we're missing half of a sticker. We do have 41 though. So we've already got 31, 39 and 38 are all missing. What's that, the... At least we got the good end. With Zordon's head. After the first two streams, or first three streams actually, I realised I needed to add more tracks to our playlist that we've got running in the background. Because the stream on Monday was 4.5 hours, and we got through the playlist I think more than once. Yeah, I'm sorry. There's going to be gaps in this album. I did my best. These are not easy to get hold of these stickers. Easier in America. In fact, I had to import a lot of these. Oh, and I've made... No, it's too late. That one's not straight. Which Tengus do you think got the better introduction? Well, I think... Did the Tengus in the movie... Didn't they have their own, like... Almost like intro music? They had music that sort of played every time they came on screen. Or was that the ooze monsters in the quarry? The guys with the dreadlocks. Oh. I mean, I'll put it to the chat. If you had to summarise the 95 movie, kind of your thoughts at the time and the thoughts now. Good movie, bad movie? I mean, this was released around a lot of hype. Power Rangers will never be as big as it was when this movie came out. I mean, they were proper A-listers at that point. They'll never be A-listers again. And any Power Rangers, to be fair, will never be A-listers again. Right, let's just double check. 31, 39, and 38. No, unless I've put them in the wrong pile. Got 3 gaps there. Only Master Warrior of Planet Phaedos can give the Power Rangers back their power, who was a different actress than the one that was originally cast. This journey is very dangerous, but the 6 friends decide they must go there anyway. Ivan learns of the mission and sends the terrible Tengu warriors to Phaedos to capture and destroy the Power Rangers. I don't know if he's necessarily interested in capturing them, it's just destroying them. While the Power Rangers are travelling towards planet Phaedos, Ivan continues his evil plan. To rule the world, I will need the help of the children of Angel Grove. As for the parents, I have a plan for getting rid of them. One second. Banning. Reporting. Where are we? This was a good part of the movie hint. I'm guessing you mean the warrior on Phaedos. Yeah, that might have been a point where my dad woke up. As I said, I don't really remember. But if there was a point for him to wake up in the movie, it'd have been that one. You're welcome, dads. They got to put it in there. There would have been a lot of parents that got dragged to that movie that wouldn't have wanted to be there. And it probably would have been more dads. So that was probably good casting. What are we missing? 50, 52, 52 and 53. That's 51. Nope. We're going to be short on those two. Ah, well, it's not really the point, isn't it? We're here to hang out. I did see that the one or multiple of the Tengu heads went up for sale recently. Well, with all the animatronics in them. And they looked in better condition than the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle heads that came up for sale a few years ago. The ones that had been rotting and were terrifying. Do I like Oreos? I mean, does anybody know? Although, to be fair, I don't know when we got them in the UK, but we definitely didn't grow up with them. I mean, they're an American biscuit. Sorry, cookie. Or are they American? They might be a European one. But I'm pretty sure we didn't have Oreos when I was growing up. Let's face it, I'd be surprised if another Power Rangers series be successful as MMPR, but it be... yeah. It's never going to be as popular as it was. But that's the thing. In the 90s, there was nothing like it. I mean, there was, but people didn't have access to the internet, so they couldn't explore Sentai and other things like that, so... you know, you only really had what was on TV and in the cinema, or if you could get hold of a VHS. So Power Rangers was something very unique. It's not unique anymore. And plus, you know, like martial arts and things was huge in the 90s. Do we have Oreos in a foil wrapping paper or plastic? I believe they're in silver plastic. I can't remember the last time I had Oreos. I had some Oreo Thins, which I prefer. And to be fair, I don't think we have anywhere near the same number of flavours as are in America. In fact, I don't know if I've even ever had flavours that weren't the original. But there is a growing list of foods that I've said to my wife that she would love, and she refuses to accept until she tries them herself. One of them was sushi. In fact, I won't go through the whole list because it's a long one, but one of them was Oreos. She was like, I won't like them. And then she tried them recently. Oh, I say recently, it was probably a year or two ago now. And then realised how good they are. French toast was another one, actually. In fact, literally, that was only a few weeks ago. Maybe even less than that. We went to London at the end of January. And I've been saying for years she'd love French toast with maple syrup. Like, nope. Refuse to try it. Now it's become one of their favourite foods. America to Oreos, Japan is to Kit Kats. Sorry. Excuse me while I'm eating a chocolate-covered cashew. I used to work for Sega, and they used to send us different flavoured Kit Kats all the time. Particularly the wasabi ones, which I don't think I ever tried. What are we missing? 52, 50, 52 and 53. Yeah, they don't have them. Is this the thing where they... Is this the sticker where they exploded the tangos? No, I don't think so. Pop rocks inside Oreos. Oh, I can't think of anything worse. I hate popping candy. Waffle Oreos, cookies and cream Oreos. Yeah, we definitely don't have these. Are we missing 55? Oh no, we're not. Good. Coconut jelly. But then in America, I never really know what jelly means. Whether it means jelly or whether it means jam. Because there's a difference. 61. Oh no, 60. We got 60. Do we have 61? Yes, we do. Good. Full page. Ivan takes on the appearance of a magician and goes to the Angel Grove Fair. While there, he starts giving out jars of ooze, a pink, it's definitely not pink, it's purple, pink jelly with terrible powers. Ivan convinces the children to use it by promising them fun and awesome powers. He instructs them to take it home and offer it to their parents as well. Does he? I think, don't the parents just, out of curiosity, give it a try? In reality, the pink... purple substance has the power to hypnotize people. As soon as the jelly, I thought it was, oh, now we're getting all confused with, we're talking about jelly and jam, now we got jelly, jam and ooze. As soon as the jelly comes into contact with the skin, people lose all their willpower and becomes zombies. Who wrote this? They definitely didn't have a sub-editor. And becomes zombies under Ivan's command. The plan works immediately and everyone is now under the rule of Ivan and the triumph of evil draws closer. Where am I reading this from? Over here. I don't know how in focus that is on this camera. Pink jelly. It's not pink jelly. And... did I read it wrong or is it written incorrectly? As soon as the jelly comes into contact with skin, people lose all their willpower and become zombies. Yeah. Whoa, 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 whoa. Starburst Oreos? Cookies and cream Kit Kat Chunky. Haven't tried that. In fact, I won't be trying it for a long time because I don't know about you, but lockdown did a number of my waistline. On my waistline. In fact, so the whole household now is on a diet, and I'm swimming 3 times a week, or 2 to 3 times a week, because I have about 4 stone to lose, which for Americans is, what's that, like nearly 60 pounds, and for Europeans I have no idea what that is in kilograms. 4 stone in pounds. 56. Yeah, so I have about nearly 60 pounds to lose. And in kilograms, 25 and a half. I've given myself hiccups now. With the thought of having to lose 4 stone. So hopefully, by the end of the year, I'll be looking a lot slimmer in videos. Ramen noodles flavoured Oreos. Seriously? Are those a thing? That can't be real. Oreos dipped in white chocolate. I've seen those. I've seen those in the UK. They came in a tin at Christmas. I think they were just normal Oreos, but they got like they're half dipped in white chocolate. Is that right? What do you think of Ivan's Two Big Machines? I thought they looked fine, but obviously the CG wasn't good. I mean, in terms of kaijus, they were fine, but in terms of CG, not good. But it made sense, you know. It was essentially the same thing as, you know, Rita trying to get gold to resurrect Goldar in the 2017 movie. He was using his ooze to regenerate these things that they were basically pulling out the earth like they were fossils. Okay, so I'm googling what not common. What am I talking about? Ramen noodle Oreos. Oh, no. This is an April Fool's thing, or surely. Cheeseburger Oreo, Starburst Oreo, ramen flavor Oreo made with onion, fried chicken Oreo. Oh, America. What is wrong with you? I mean, there's plenty of things wrong with the UK, but wow. Root beer flavour, limeade flavour, red velvet, okay. But fried chicken? Okay, Tide Pods, that's definitely not real. Gingerbread, okay. Oh, no. In fact, a good friend of the show, if you don't know him, go watch his YouTube channel if you're into video games, especially retro games, Mr. John Riggs. He is a big fan of cereal. Now, I like cereal. However, when it comes to cereal, British people and American people are talking a very different language. American cereal is basically a candy aisle. I mean, don't get me wrong. We have some, you know, chocolate-covered delights and things over here. But it is a very different thing. Bacon cream Oreo? No. No, that's not. I'm going to spend the rest of this stream now just double-checking Oreo flavours. I do remember a scene from South Park where they're basically making fun of the amount of Oreo flavours and how fat Cartman's getting. But I thought that was a joke. Oh wait, hang on. This sticker of Vulcan Skull, that's a half sticker. Oh no, it's very slightly different. Like a few frames difference. But one's a half sticker. Well, I don't feel so bad for not having the other half of the sticker now, because it's just the same thing. But we have guns and nukes, so you can't do anything. I mean, you're not wrong. This kid, the kid from the movie, I always thought that was Paul Rudd. I've just noticed on this sticker, I don't remember this bit from the movie with Bulk with ooze all over his face, and it is a little bit like certain scenes that I've seen from gentleman's special interest videos. He's got a police badge on. I don't know if that was foreshadowing for when they became police officers. But if there was ever going to be Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie, the porn parody, there's a scene from it. Same. Are you talking about the kid looking like Paul Rudd? I'm sure he must have done stuff since. He looks so familiar. What was his name? Let's have a look. MMPR, the movie cast. What was the kid's name? Fred, is that it? Jamie Croft. Australian actor. Looks nothing like he did when he was a kid. And he's not done a lot since. He looks... like, Paul Rudd looks more like him now. Like, Paul Rudd looks more like the kid than this guy looks like he did when he was a kid. American cereal is all sugar. It's not even that. It's just candy. You're welcome, bears. Ooh. The adults start marching through the streets of the town just like robots. Well, you know, you just said there were zombies. Anyway. Heading towards the construction site where Ivan's capsule was hidden. Fred... oh, well, there you go. Just found out... trying to figure out what his name was. A faithful young friend of the Power Rangers sees that his father has also fallen under Iva's evil spell and joins with the grown-ups. Does he? He doesn't join with the grown-ups, does he? He tries to go get help. Fred secretly... oh, okay. Fred secretly follows his father and the other adults to the construction zone, where he sees that Ivan is forcing all the parents to dig up heavy blocks of stone to uncover the monstrous equipment that had been buried with them. So where are we? 60s. Oh yeah, to be fair, there is a few scenes in Australia, isn't there? And obviously the show now is in New Zealand. And a lot of the accents leak through. That's all the 60s, isn't it? So these are all spare. Yeah, I agree. If there's going to be a kid in the show, he should be an ally, not a ranger. Because kids relate to teenagers anyway. Because they imagine being older. Where are the 70s? Where are all the... have I got no 70s stickers? That can't be right. Where have all the 70s stickers gone? Ah, well, Catherine's accent... she was actually Australian. Kat was Australian, so that's not quite the same, but... hang on. Where have all the 70s gone? Oh, they're over here. My desk is getting so cluttered I can't even find the stickers. 73, 71, 72, 74 and 75, 74, and 75. There we go, full page. Yeah. All they need to do was spray them with water, wasn't it? Well, I mean... we established that water has some pretty special powers. It's like the aliens in Signs. Kills the Zeo powers. Destroys a whole alien race. Fatal flaw in Ivan Ooze's plan. I do love... Hang on, let me put this sticker in. Actually, no, I'm going to zoom in. So, clearly, a lot of the parents were just extras. And they would have gone to an agent and gone like, you know, give me whoever. There's one lady who turned up for filming on this movie and were like, I'm going to make sure I'm seen. So let me zoom in. And let me see if I can get this in focus. Oh, no, where are we? This lady here. Now, you can't really see it very well on the sticker, but go watch the scene from the movie. It must be on YouTube. It must be... Or if you've got the DVD or whatever, go watch this scene where Fred's dad puts his hand in the ooze and goes under the power of this, the spell, and he walks out, and there's all the parents walking towards the construction site. This lady here, in the cowboy hat, she had the right idea. In fact, you can go watch my video on Power Rangers video games, because I'm pretty sure I mention her. God bless that woman. She's like... She turned up in the cowboy hat that Kurt Angle wore in that scene with Stone Cold. I mean, that can't have been on accident. I mean, there's some 90s fashion going on there. But she's got... I mean, it might even be a wig. Like really curly blonde hair. Bright red cowboy hat. Oh, wait, hang on. A guy in a tuxedo? I don't remember this. Hang on. This might be in from a cut scene. There's a guy that turned up with a tuxedo and a green bow tie. I'm pretty sure that was cut from the movie. But bless these extras. I love that. You're going to be an extra in a Power Rangers movie? Let me get my tuxedo. See, the Power Rangers turned up at the premiere in costume. He was just thinking ahead. So, talking about scenes that were cut, one thing that I find really annoying is that the DVD release of this movie doesn't have any of the extra features. Like, it has I think it has the trailer, but there's no behind-the-scenes documentary. There's no cut scenes, as in like deleted scenes or bloopers or alternate scenes or anything like that, extended scenes. Nothing. Nothing in it. It's such an iconic movie for 90s kids. Not necessarily the... Okay, it's not the best movie ever made, but it's an iconic franchise. And there's never been... In fact, while we got people on from around the world, is there a DVD anywhere in the world that has the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie, which has loads of special features, like a collector's edition or one with all those scenes in it? Because it's definitely not in the UK. But if there is one around the world, I'd like to know about it. Because if I do that podcast, I mean, I'll show you at some point. Hang on, am I in focus? Yes, I am. Yeah, if I do that podcast, I've been buying sort of collector's editions of DVDs and things, and Blu-rays and things with all the extra features, because the idea is that we would go through it like long form, not just look at the movie, but if there's alternate versions, if there's books that go along with it and so on. And I'd love to do this movie, but there's so much about it that I can't... Well, I'm sure it's on YouTube and things, but yeah, I'm sure it's on YouTube. But I'd like to have it in a sort of a collector's edition, and I can't believe they've never done it. because obviously this movie would have been, well, it was hyped, and there was a lot of marketing. Sticker's not right. He's sort of got, looks like he's got 3 faces. There was a lot of hype behind this, a lot of TV behind the scenes stuff, but it was not released. Obviously, it would have aired on TV, but not all of it would have been aired on UK TV. And I don't understand why it's never been done. Did you watch the Toys That Made You SPR episode? Do you mean like when they did scenes with certain Zords with the Rangers standing on them, and it was just like a figure on top? I wonder how many people were confused when they saw the movie and saw some of those stickers and like, what? Well, that happened quite a lot. I mean, with the Turbo movie, they put it on the box. Like, there's a scene with Cat and a blowtorch. It's not in the movie. And it's not on the DVD release either, the cutscenes. I think it is in the comic book. I talk about it in the What Happened to the Zeo Powers video. Big dark clouds gather above the factory where Ivan creates the deadly jelly substance. I think you mean ooze. Definitely not jam. As soon as my powerful ectoskeletons work again... Were they called? No, they weren't called ectoskeletons. What were they called in the movie? As soon as my powerful ectoskeletons work again, they can spread ooze throughout the world. The first thing I'll do is destroy Angel Grove and the entire universe. Angel Grove and the universe. Which one do you go for first? The ectoskeletons are now all ready to serve their purpose. They're filled with ooze using big tubes, and as the pink substance, not pink, enters into their cracks. Is that... Did they mean to write that? As soon as the pink substance enters into their cracks, the huge pieces of equipment slowly come back to life and start moving and making horrible sounds. I mean, I find that. I mean, when pink goo goes into my crack, I come back to life. US Blu-ray only has a 44-minute documentary. Well, I mean, that's better than nothing. Because that's what we've got over here. In fact, it's usually bundled with the Turbo movie these days. Poor Fred never got to live his dream of being the Gold Ranger, like he said at the end. He did say that, didn't he? I'd forgotten about that. And then they bring a Gold Ranger into Zeo. And then that gets all confusing as well, because you've got the triplets, and then you've got... You're meant to think that it's Billy, and then you're meant to think that it's Skull, and then it's Jason. There's a Netflix series called The Toys That Made Us, and yeah, I've seen a couple of episodes of that, but I'm trying to remember which ones I saw. I think I saw the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles one, and I might have seen the Wrestling Toys one as well. But I've been saving the Power Rangers one. I haven't watched it yet. I have seen... There's a Retro Toys YouTuber that did a Power Rangers video that I've seen. Ectomorph... Titans, yes, that's it. Yeah, no, not ectoskeletons. Zeo Gold should have been Billy. Well, this is the thing. This is what I would like to ask David. And in fact, I have asked David. But he can't really remember, because he never saw all the scripts. In the Zeo series, obviously Billy is sneaking off all the time. And that's why we're meant to think that he's the Gold Ranger. But we never find out why he's sneaking off. And I'm pretty sure it's because he was creating the turbo powers. Because he was going to be in the Turbo movie. He stated that he was going to be in the Turbo movie. And obviously he somewhat regrets that he wasn't in it. But obviously understandable given what he was going through. But we never found out why. Yeah, we never found out why he was sneaking off. And I'd love to know. And I've looked into it. Because obviously I did a lot of research for that What Happened to the Zeo Powers video, and I spoke to a lot of the guys that were in the movie. You know, I spoke to the actress that played Diva Tox as well. But no one seems to remember. I would need to find... I would need to find one of the producers, or someone that wrote the story. Because I think... I seem to remember Blake Foster, the guy that played Justin... He put on Instagram a little while ago that a picture of the Zeo script, the Zeo movie script. But I think it was one of the version, like the final versions. So, excuse me, one sec. You can't, well, yeah, you can't help trolls. I mean, I did see in the analytics on YouTube. Now, I don't know if this is something I should be worried about, or whether I just let it go, or whatever. In the analytics on YouTube, it tells you where some people are coming from to watch your videos. You know, say for it's been embedded wherever. And one of the sources was Kiwi Farms. Now, if you don't know what Kiwi Farms is, I won't go into a whole spiel on it, but they tend to do a lot of trolling on people that they deem to be beneath them, shall we say. But I don't know if it's... I mean, they discuss a lot of Sentai stuff and things, but then they are also very against weebs and so on. So I don't know if that's where some of the trolls come from, or whether they're just sharing videos because they're genuinely interested, but it is something I spotted. Didn't they tease Tommy's brother for the gold? Yes, they did, I think. I think so, anyway. I seem to remember. Because obviously Tommy is a ranger. So the theory would be that his brother could also take on the powers. These pages are not printed properly. There's like a big... Hang on, I'm still zoomed in, aren't I? Let me zoom out. Make sure we're in focus. These pages have got like a big white gap at the bottom, which means that the stickers are right on the edge, and in fact in that case they're slightly going over. At least with the bot trolls, when you remove them and you ban them, if people want to watch the streams back, it never appears in the chat. Oh, hang on, are we missing page? Sticker number 85. The dude from VR Troopers. I haven't heard that, actually. Although, to be fair, I don't remember a lot about VR Troopers. I think I said it, I can't remember if it was last week or it was in the Pokemon Day stream. I think I saw a couple of episodes back in the day, and I didn't really understand it. And then the most recent thing I've seen of it was the JonTron video. Obviously, he didn't go into a lot of detail about it because that's not what JonTron does. JonTron is just kind of like it's more of a comedy take on it than a full review. Tommy's brother already knew their identities, and PR logic was once someone found out that they'd likely be the next Ranger. Ah. I don't remember that being said. I mean, I'll take your word for it. But I don't remember. Oh, you mean how, like, Rocky, Adam, and Aisha found out who they were, and then, okay. And then Justice found out about, yeah, and then he took over as the Blue Ranger. 85. I think we're missing 85, aren't we? Oh no, there it is. We're good. Full page. Still find how Rocky, getting injured just from falling out of a boxing ring after all of the stuff that they'd done was a bit weird. It's interesting, they made the Red Ranger orange. The guy from VR Troopers was supposed to be the White Ranger, but... Oh, before Tommy became the White Ranger, do you mean? Voiced the Gold Ranger in early appearances. Oh, okay. Rather than the triplets. Phew. Well, they dodged a bullet there. 87. 89? 88. All those are spare. 95, 90, 96, 94. Where do we go up to? 98. Oh, we go all the way up to 99, okay. 91. 96 already done. 92. 97. 93. Do we have 99 though? I don't think we do. I think we're missing 99. '96, 92, 92, 98, 96, 92, 94, 94, 94, 96, 94, 96, 90. No, we're missing 99. The Power Rangers have finally reached planet Phaedos, but more dangers await them. A terrible winged Tengu warrior is ready to attack our friends. Just the one? Following the instructions Ivan has given them, other Tengu warriors descend with force upon the Power Rangers. They're too strong. We will never survive without our powers. The sixth Power Rangers desperately try to defend themselves, but they are about to surrender to the terrible blows of the winged monsters until... I assume that's going to be one of the next stickers. It's going to be one for the dads. Oh. So, Phaedos. That was Australia. Am I right in that? Hang on though, that sticker, that's in the quarry, in the construction site even. That's not where this, that's the wrong part of the film. the shot of Ivan in the background. What, on this page? Actually, yeah, that is pretty cool. And it gives a good overview of his costume. He's a very good actor, gotta say. Shame the Pink Ranger only had a whip in the film. Yeah, she did have a whip, didn't she? Which, I mean... Amy Jo Johnson with a whip, I mean... The Tengus. Now, I'm fairly certain, but someone can correct me if I'm wrong. They were not in any Sentai at all. They were specifically for Power Rangers, weren't they? Ooh. Raptor rib. Oh, it's kind of like a gymnast thing, isn't it? It's playing upon the fact that she's a gymnast. Yeah, actually, I'd forgotten about that. When he's in the command center and he's sort of talking about how all the things he's lost. He's like, the Brady Bunch reunion. I'd like to think that was ad-libbed. Probably not, but still. Not that anyone... Like, if a kid was watching that now, they'd probably know what that was. Because there was a weird sort of resurgence of Brady Bunch, wasn't there, in the 90s? Based on Japanese folklore. But they weren't in a Sentai at all, were they? And then obviously, because this is the movie, we've transitioned into Buff Billy. No longer geeky Billy. Well, I mean, he's slightly geeky, but nowhere near as much. They let it... Because that's the thing. Now that I've gone back and watched the original series for the video that I'm going to do, where it's comparing Zyuranger, the original cast was very well balanced. Trini had a very different martial arts style to, say, Jason, and then you had Zach with his hip-hop Kido, and then Kimberly was a gymnast, and then Billy was the uber geek that was also very good at making tech, like the communicators and ways of transporting them to the command center. So they all brought something individual to the team. When they replaced it with Rocky, Aisha, and Adam, the balance wasn't there anymore. And obviously, not only did they replace them, Billy didn't have the same effect. He was more of a geeky... Oh, there she is. Well, now, we're getting a bit too into the whip now. Let me get my autograph book. I do remember that. He was a great actor. I can't remember his name, but he was very good. Yeah, again, there's not much in terms of martial arts. It is more just stunt acting. But yeah, the original cast, I know some people prefer the original casting of Trini. I forget her name, but the original casting in the pilot. But when you actually watch it back, when you watch it like in a whole block, and when I show in the video, because they all have different martial art styles, it really works well. But yeah, once they started recasting, it just didn't work. Right, I'm gonna put the album aside now because we need to start going through the hundreds. Yeah, Billy became ripped, but he also wasn't obviously he was smart, but they sort of downplayed his intelligence a little bit. And then when Zeo came around, it sort of came back because he was helping Alpha once he wasn't a ranger anymore. Excuse me. For 134. Paul Freeman. I remember I did see a behind the scenes video on YouTube, and everyone was just praising how good an actor he was, because I think he was a classically trained actor, but he threw himself into playing Ivan Ooze. He wasn't holding back at all. What was sticker 69? I don't know. I'm guessing that wasn't an in-joke. Do I have any spares here? They should still be in relative order. 50s. 60s. 62, 68. I think it was the guy in the tuxedo. Oh no, 69, here we go. Yeah, it's Mr. Tuxedo guy. There was no in-joke there. It's just the guy that turned up for filming thinking he was going to the premiere. Billy said in an interview he requested... He didn't... Yeah, he wanted to be more of a buff character. I mean, in terms of building things, yeah, it's insane. And this is one of the things I hated about Justin. So, Billy is described as a super genius. He turns a Volkswagen Beetle into something that can go like 4 times the speed of Concorde. He creates the communicators. He is able to fix Alpha when he breaks. He's able to create not just the communicators, but also how they get in and out of the command center in terms of the teleportation. And he skips 1 school year. Whereas Justin skips loads of school years. And it's just not believable. Yeah, David Yost originally went to play Jason. He auditioned for Jason. Yeah, don't worry about the bot, it's fine. Oh wait, hang on, 73? What's that doing there? I should check whether that's one of the ones I was missing. Let's put that aside. Uh, 164, 120, 150, 166, 109. 141, 146, 163, 138, 143. Austin got the Jason role because he had the most martial arts experience out of all of them. I can believe that, but what's interesting is if you go and watch the pilot, there is the first morph sequence, like The pilot is obviously the first episode, pretty much, but with a few changes. But there's a bit where they leave the command center and they're walking away through the mountains and they're ambushed by putties. And they try and fight them and they can't, so they decide that they're going to morph. And Austin St. John's morph is painful. Like, where's my... First of all, they don't do the whole, you know, holding out in front of them. It's like almost Superman, like it's holding it like this. And he goes, Thunderswords. It's almost like if Sylvester Stallone was playing a Power Ranger. Like, it's not as animated. When it do the morph sequence in the actual TV series, there's a lot of oomph going on there. But when he's doing it in the pilot, it sounds like the most lackluster thing you've ever heard. It's awful, and I'm surprised he actually got the role after they'd gone through and they'd watched the pilot back and they'd decided to move forward with the series. I mean, obviously Trini was recast because the actress asked for too much money. But yeah, Austin St. John in the pilot is rough. But I guess it's because he has martial arts experience that they were just like, well, we're not going to find someone better. So I wonder when Jason David Frank came along. Because, I mean, he would have worked for Jason. But then, obviously, they would have needed someone to play Tommy then. Oh, wait, 96. I'm finding a couple that are below 100 now. The goofy-looking glove puppet, yeah. As I say, I'm rewatching Zyuranger because I've mentioned this before, but I think there's more people on this stream than were on the older streams. When I first did that video, the original What's the Difference video, I had no idea what the difference was, and that was kind of the point. And then, obviously, when I got into it, I realised that it's not so easy to answer because Power Rangers goes on and on and on and on, and then Sentai changes each season. So that video became more of an overview of Power Rangers rather than a deep dive into the series. And so I sort of got interested in what Sentai was and what it was. So I never really did deep dives for the first 3 videos. So I want to go back now and I want to redo the first video at least, doing a proper in-depth video. And yeah, they did do more with the putties in the Japanese show. I've messed something up here. Talking whilst I'm putting the stickers together. Where are the 20s? Okay, here we go. I've been messing these up, haven't I? That's a 50, 60, 60. I also thought it was interesting how early season 1 and early season 2 couldn't have Sentai counterpart episodes, people just called. Yeah, so that's where it got a little bit messy, because obviously the original characters had become iconic and they were trying to hang on to them for as long as possible. So they commissioned new footage, but then they decided to go with, you know, the Die Ranger Zords. So then they had to change things, and it got a bit messy. But I can understand why they wanted to hang on to the original costumes for as long as possible. And plus also they had to add things in like bringing the wrist up to talk like they were, you know, using communicators, which obviously in Sentai they didn't do. Zuto footage is how we got the cool Black Ranger variant with Green Ranger shield. Was that not in Zhu Ranger? I mean, I haven't got to that part in Zhu Ranger yet. The original show suits were a little overrated. Well, it was dinosaurs. I mean, I know they weren't all dinosaurs, but it's 90s and it's dinosaurs, so... I didn't like the Die Ranger suits. It was Zuto stuff, okay. I mean, when people cosplay... I mean, some of the best cosplay I've seen is of the Black Ranger with the shield. I mean, the black and gold just looks so good. Just, well, I guess like the Gold Ranger in Zeo. Come on, get straight. I didn't know this movie had stickers. I mean, to be fair, I don't remember these from back in the day either. I don't know if we even had these in the UK. I mean, we definitely had the Mighty Morphin sticker album, because I remember that one. But I mean, those that are in the UK... Do you remember the sticker album? Because I don't. Die Ranger suits are some of your favourite suits? Well, that's fine. You can have your personal favourites. I mean, obviously, the White Ranger suit was cool. But the General Ranger suits I wasn't a fan of. But Die Ranger has the best theme tune. I mean, Die Ranger in general wasn't my favourite series. I know for a lot of people it is. And that's fine. But Die Ranger definitely had the best theme tune. No doubt. Nobody's going to change my mind on that one. The Thunderswords and didn't fully scrap the Megazord. Yeah, they just had the zap of lightning where it went from the original Zords to the Thunderswords. No, you haven't spoiled Zhu Ranger at all. Like, I did watch Zhu Ranger, but obviously it wasn't going to be as in-depth as for the video that I'm doing. So I just couldn't remember. Right, 96 and 73. These were two that I'd misplaced. Are these ones that I was missing? No, 96 wasn't. And looks like 73 wasn't either. Ah, well. Into the hundreds. These are all just rappers, aren't they? 100. Suddenly, a beautiful female warrior leaps into combat. With accurate aim, she quickly defeats the Tengu warriors, who then flee. When Tommy approaches the mysterious woman to thank her, she hits him with a club and says, "Go back to where you came from. There is no use in your seeking of the great power." But when Aisha explains that the power is needed to help Zordon to beat Ivan Ooze, was it Aisha that explained it? The Lady Warrior, lets the Power Rangers continue their journey. No, she doesn't let them continue, she helps them. Right. 107, 108, 103, 109, 106, 101, 105, 104, 102, but we're missing, I think we're missing 100. Are we missing the Lady Warrior? Oh no, there she is. I think, was she a fitness champion or something? I can't remember exactly. Smartwatches talking on phone stole the idea from Power Rangers. Simple suits, but it matched the ninja. I mean, yeah. I mean, Kaku Ranger wasn't my favourite season. And neither was Mighty Morphin Alien Rangers. But I didn't dislike the suits. Imagine like when I bootleg Power Ranger training on it was the Die Ranger suits. That's pretty cool, actually. Gokaiga is one of the best themes. I never know if I'm pronouncing that right because I haven't seen the season yet. Although I know that's one that everybody says is good. And we'll get there. We'll get to that one. Cara June, is that her name? Kay the Red Ninja 09, hey, how are you doing? I hate off stickers. It doesn't even line up with the frame, but that's fine. The best power sword? Well, I mean, I guess it depends what you classify as a sword. Is Saber a sword? Or is that a dagger? I mean, that was quite the costume, wasn't it? I mean, apart from the fact that it's actually showing skin, rather than, like, material from tights, it's not a million miles away from the Rita costume from the 2017 movie. I mean, I've got the toy of Saber back there. It's pretty beaten up though. It was a cheap one that I got as a prop for my first video on this channel that wasn't a motorbike review. So obviously when I first started this channel, in fact it wasn't this channel. I had a completely different channel which got hacked and I had to start again. I had about 250 odd subscribers. So I think my first video was a motorbike review, straight off the back of leaving Top Gear. But my first Pomelo retro video was a Power Rangers video games video. And it was, I used Saber for something. I can't remember what it was. Oh yeah, no, I remember. It was one of the games. I forget which one. It might be in the Super Nintendo one. It had a good rendition of the theme tune. And I had Saber, because the little button on the toy made the mouth move. And I had him singing along to the theme tune. But it was a pretty beaten up prop. Pretty beaten up to it. In fact, let me go get him. Let me go get him. he is. With the mouth moving and everything. But it was, yeah, it's got no tip to it. And it's a bit pretty beaten up. In fact, this was something that got, it was a victim of the move. This was not in good shape to begin with. But when we moved house, and I moved into this studio, this was something that emerged from the boxes in even worse condition. I don't know what else he did. I assume he could put batteries in this, and then I don't know what. I'm sure it made some sort of, yeah, because there's a little speaker on it, and then there's two buttons here. One makes, but they both make his mouth move. So I don't know what they were. I don't know what the difference was. But yeah, there he is. Very beaten up, broken, tipless Saba. Don't really know what to do with him though. I'm just kind of... It can't go on a shelf because it doesn't fit on anything. And I've got the... What was it called? Legacy Collection of the Dragon Dagger. Did they release a Legacy Collection Saba? I don't remember. But yeah, Saba. I mean, if you class Saba as a sword, there you go. That's my favourite. Not this specific one. Well, because I don't think I had that as a kid. That's not my one. That was one specifically bought for that video. Because I had aspirations of being a big YouTuber. And I released that video. And I put a lot of work into it. I styled it a little bit on JonTron and the Angry Video Game Nerd. And it got about 100 views. And even now, like when I moved over to the new channel, the one that is current now, the one after we got hacked, and I had to move to a new channel, obviously everything got re-uploaded. And I bet it's probably only sitting at like 1,500 views now. Unless I'm going to be pleasantly surprised. But all my bandwidth is going to streaming, so I can't actually load it very easily. Where are we? These are all in chronological order. "109 videos. I am Dulce. Is it Dulcea? Is that how it's pronounced? Master warrior of this planet, which Zordon once freed from the evil Ivan. Is that what happened? Did Zordon free Dulcea from Ivan Ooze? I mean, I remember her saying that he was a menace. But did Zordon free her from him? The woman decides to help the Power Rangers and leads them to an abandoned temple where the Power Rangers are transformed into ninjas. Dulcea tells the Power Rangers, "In each of you lives the spirit of an animal. You only have to learn to use it. The strength of the ninja is now with you. The animal spirits will guide you towards the monolith, which holds the great power of the universe." I mean, Dulcea was definitely nicer to look at than Ninja. Saba was in the Legacy line. Okay, I might have to look into that. Legacy Saba has lots of die-cast and the original voice actor recorded the new lines. I might look into that. I mean, I probably don't have the money to buy it because they're some of the things are crazy money now, especially if they're originally sealed. Although I have about 5 of the Legacy Morphers for something that I'm not prepared to go into detail about what I'm using it for. But not the movie ones. The movie ones are hard to find. Well, they're not hard to find, but they're more expensive. I've got them, the TV show ones, but I've modified them for something that I can't tell you. because I've been waiting on something about a year and a half and it's still not ready. But I did get an update very recently and I'm getting a bit excited about it. Is this book canon? Well, it doesn't look like it. I'm willing to bet this book... Well, yeah, it probably did use an older script because... Well, to be fair, but then where did they get the pictures from? Do you have any of the toy Megazord still? No, I never had any of them. Never had them as a kid either. Like I was saying earlier, I had Titanus, and I can't remember why. I can't remember why I had Titanus and not Megazord. But I wish they released one a few years ago. I forgot the name of it. It's called The Spirit of something or other. And that goes like £800 or £900 now. Power Rangers video games. First published January 29th, 2017. Oh, it's got 16,500 views. I wasn't expecting that. Soul of... yeah, I don't know how to pronounce it. Chogokin? Yeah, that's the one. That's the one I was talking about. That is amazing. I've seen videos of it, but then I looked up the prices. I definitely can't justify that. Considering, I mean, I'll be brutally honest with you, this channel brings in about less than £100 a month. So if this is ever going to be my income, I can't be spending that kind of money on Megazords. Oh, we're missing a few here. 112 and 113, and it's a half sticker as well. Actually, no, I'm wrong. This channel brings in a bit more now, because since I've left my job, about a dozen of you have joined Patreon. And if any of you are on the stream, I've just got to say thank you, because I wasn't expecting even a handful of people to join. So if you are on the stream and you're back on Patreon, thank you, and you will be getting rewards for that. Not just early access to videos. There's a few things that I will tell you about next month that will be coming. And obviously you've got an extra channel on Discord. And that might be a hint, actually. What TV show do you love that no one else does? Why is it Neighbours? I mean, open that up to everyone in the chat. What TV show do you love that no one else does? And if you don't know what Neighbours is a soap opera. But there's... I think when it comes to America, and I'll say the UK, but I'll there's a caveat to that. Soap operas are very different things. I think in America, soap operas like telenovelas are, you know, the sort of style. Joey and Friends. I can't remember the name of the show he was in. That's a soap opera in America, whereas soap opera in the UK and in Australia, which is what Neighbours is, they're very much, even though there has to be drama, because otherwise it'd be boring, they're more reality based. And Neighbours was a show that I always used to watch when I was a kid, but I haven't watched it for a long time. Oh, it's annoying that this half sticker's missing because it's the lineup of the ninjas. And pretty much, if you watch Neighbours, or you didn't watch Neighbours as a kid, pretty much every Australian actor that you've ever seen was either on Neighbours or Home and Away at one point. But yeah, I heard that they were cancelling it. Or, well, I don't know if they're cancelling it in Australia or cancelling it everywhere. Star Trek Enterprise, the one that... I've never watched Star Trek. I mean, in the UK, it was on every night. I think just before The Simpsons. Like, when you... I think The Simpsons was on every night. But, and I can't remember if it was before or after Star Trek was on, but I think that was the one with Picard, whatever that was called. Tigerzord to Falconzord is a bit of a downgrade. I disagree. I mean, I like the flying ones, because I maintain that Kimberly had the best sword in the first season. It's basically a fighter jet. Alright, we're at 117 of about... How many is it? 180. Although I don't have 117. Brookside. There's definitely a very UK reference. Next Generation with Picard, that's the one. That was like the double lineup on Channel 4, was it? No, BBC 2 in the UK, like around 6 PM after school. If you were going off to Cubs or Scouts or whatever it was, around about the time you had your tea, there was Star Trek Next Generation, and there was The Simpsons every weeknight. Cat from Power Rangers wasn't in Neighbours at Home and Away. She might have been, I don't know. But just about every Australian actor in every movie you've ever seen would have been on one of those two. Or there might have been a third one. I'm not that up on my Australian soap operas. And to be honest, I don't know why it became a thing. I don't know why the UK picked up on Neighbours so much. But it was big. It was big in the 90s particularly. But yeah, very different definition of soap opera between America and then UK and Australia. I suppose Mexico with the telenovelas. While the Power Rangers watch in shock, Dulcia suddenly turns into a splendid eagle and flies away. Yeah, she did do that, didn't she? I can't remember. Left alone, the six friends head off to the monolith, knowing that no one has ever survived this test, but their mission is too important for them to let fear control them. The journey is made difficult due to the thick forest, but finally the six friends reach a small open field. Now in front of them they see a really strange sight. All around, the land is covered with fragments of bone skeletons and giant tusks. I do remember this scene with the dinosaur skeleton, and that's what was weird. The thing with the dinosaur skeleton, there was a bit of CG, but it was mostly practical, and that worked really well. And then you get to the finale and it's all CG. One, 2, 5, 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 8. We already used 1, 2, 9. 126. And then we got 30s. Catherine Sutherland played a receptionist in Two Neighbours of Neighbours. There you go. If there's an Australian actor, they've probably been Neighbours or Home and Away. It's like pretty much every Scottish actor, well obviously not anymore, but at some point was in Taggart. Are we missing 1, 2, 4? I don't like the fact that the stickers that we're missing tend to be half stickers. Yeah, we're missing 1, 2, 4. Oh well. They should remaster all the CG in the PR movie. You know what? I'm surprised. There's a YouTube channel they're all CG artists, and they do this thing where they remaster movies, and they did what's it called? The Scorpion King. Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, in Scorpion King. That's another example of CG that, never mind holding up now, it was bad at the time. And they remaster it. And it looks better. Obviously, they're not like a massive budget company or anything. But they do make it look better. I wonder if they'd be able to do Power Rangers. I forget the name of the channel though. But I'm sure if you looked up something like "We Fixed the Scorpion King," Corridor Crew. No, that doesn't sound right. Let me find them. Keep sticking as I go because, as I say, most of my bandwidth is going on the stream. Hang on, wait a minute. This sticker here, there's like an elephant character. Hang on, let me get this into... Let's zoom into this. I'm guessing this must have been a deleted scene or something, because I don't remember this guy. One sec. Let's get this up here, and then my very technical focus tool. This guy. He wasn't in the movie, was he? I'm assuming that's not a statue. He's wearing clothes. Right, let me find this. We Fixed Scorpion King CGI? Yeah. We fixed the worst VFX shot ever. You're right, Corridor Crew is the channel. And then there's a few that do deep fakes and things. But they're actually CGI video effects guys. So they sort of remastered the Scorpion King scene. Well, sorry, it's not the Scorpion King, is it? It's the Mummy Returns. It's the Scorpion King in the Mummy Returns. An elephant skeleton they fight. No, it was sort of a rhino triceratops thing. It was that thing. And that's clearly a production photo because it's David Yost posing by it. But yeah, I liked this scene, and it was done practically. I mean, I think there was a bit of CG, like I said. But not completely. Yeah, I don't recognise that. The ninja gear actually looked pretty cool. But I didn't understand in the TV show where they would have, like... They'd get into fights where they sort of... They're in their street clothes. And then they sort of half morph into the ninjas. And then they do the full morph into the rangers. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it doesn't look like a statue because he's wearing clothes and he looks like he's pointing with his trunk. He looks like he's pointing with his trunk and then the rangers are all looking in that direction. But to be fair, actually, that picture's taken in between scenes because there's a... You won't be able to see on this camera, but there's a guy in the background. There's like a member of the production crew. But that elephant is definitely wearing clothes. But this is between scenes. These guys are all just sitting around waiting. A loud explosion fills the air while a huge skeleton comes to life and attacks the Power Rangers. Our friends try to defend themselves from the terrible blows until Tommy manages to remove part of the backbone from the creature. Well, yeah, it was connecting the backbone to the skull, the neck, wasn't it? The neck to the skull from the creature, making it fall to pieces in just a few seconds. The six friends continue their journey, and at the edge of the forest, a majestic sight lies before them. From the middle of the vegetation appears an impressive temple dug out of rock and decorated with frightening statues. Hey, those statues are moving. Where are we? 34. One, 139, 134. 136. 138. That's all of the 30s. 40s. 144. 141. 143. 140 and 142. Cool, we got a full page. Because I think when they reach the monolith, again, it's like a mix of CG and practical, isn't it? I think when they first come to life, it's CG. And then when you enter the fight scenes, it's a guy in a suit. So it's weird that they had sort of the right mix of CG and practical for most of the movie. Because when they get to the construction site earlier in the movie, when Ivan appears, and he sets his henchmen, or whatever they are, they have little bits of CG which add to the scene, where the guy gets like double kicked to the head and it gets squashed. But for the most part, it's guys in costumes. So I think that's why the CG at the end is even more jarring. It's because for the majority of the movie, they'd got the right balance. How did the sticker album get the production images? Well, I mean, it's an official release. So Merlin presumably just asked for, like, the negatives. Because this would have been pre-digital photography. So they would have just asked for negatives from the on-set photographer. Because I assume they wouldn't have been able to use, like, movie still frames, like, from the actual film. Because it's not like with digital where you can just take a screenshot. I imagine at the time you would have actually had to have the actual like video film negative. I feel like the whole time they were in those ninja suits, they should have been in their regular ranger suits. Yeah, I guess. But then it sort of that's what I was saying. It's sort of like they did like a half morph into the ninja suits. But I think it was because they wanted to show the actors more. Like I was saying earlier, in the movie initially what they were thinking of doing was having clear visors so you could see the actors, and they had to abandon that idea. So maybe that was something that carried forward into the TV show, where it felt like an idea, it felt like an opportunity to have them as sort of recognizable as Rangers, because they're in their color coordinated costumes and with the power coins and so on, but you can still see that it's the actors, not the stunt actors in a suit and a helmet. I always like the 4 Rock Soldier battle when they're trying to... Yeah, like I say, that was done practically, for the most part, this bit. And it worked. I mean, it never really explained who or what they were necessarily, but that's fine, because it was meant to be mysterious. They were just, you know, protectors of the power. I actually don't remember as well, like, there's a double sticker here where they've got them sort of preparing for battle, and they're all pretty much got the same stance, slightly. Kimberly's got a crane stance, which makes sense because her Zord was the crane, right? Wasn't it? But the rest don't really make sense. Sort of Adam and Rocky have just got their fists out, and then Billy and Aisha, I guess being Wolf and Bear, had their sort of claws. And then I don't know what Tommy's doing as the Falcon. But yeah, I hadn't noticed that before. I don't remember that from the movie. Don't think they got the Ranger suits to the full statue. Yeah, they didn't get the... Well, they got their Ranger suits at the beginning, obviously, but they didn't get their Ranger suits back until they defeated those statue guys. Sometime between Gobus and Big Run of Meh. I'm not sure. I can't really say because I haven't seen those. Yeah, what would a frog stance be? I guess crouched. 45, 146, 148. Do we have 147? Nope. Missing 147. At least it's no half stickers this time. There we go, there's the statue, guys. Well, we're not exactly going to be able to complete the album. I was about to say complete the album completely. But considering it was just a load of packs that I'd managed to build up over a year and a half, we're not going to have that many gaps. Talk about a splitting headache. Well, there were some good one-liners in the TV show and the movie. Even though I think the balance was thrown off in terms of their martial arts style, as far as recastings go of the Red, Yellow and Black Ranger, I mean, I don't think they could have done much better than Rocky, Aish and Adam. I mean, obviously Adam became, you know, he became a big thing. was brought back loads. Rocky a little bit, not so much. And Karen Ashley, I don't think came back at all. Oh wait, 150. We do have 150. Uh, 151. We need 154 and 6. 54. No 56. When it got to this battle with the Battle at the Monolith, it was feeling a little bit, it almost looked like a set from Indiana Jones. Red Ranger's normally the leader, but Tommy had that bit, yeah. I mean, when it was Jason and Tommy, they sort of, it was two alpha males, wasn't it? But when it got to Rocky and Tommy, it definitely wasn't. Or maybe this wasn't the scene. Kimberly with the crane stance. Very interested to know why your next Power Rangers video is Dino Thunder instead of any of this. It's basically because once we've cleared the Zordon era, which technically we did with In Space, but then obviously it got rebooted with Lost Galaxy, the Order wasn't so important anymore. And Dino Thunder was of particular interest to me because obviously you get Tommy back. It's dinosaurs, like it was the original series. But it's a more modern take. And I hadn't seen a modern series. And it's one I wanted to do. But also with Abba Ranger, there is... I've tried to explain this previously. There's a double crossover with another TV show. And the animated version, one of them is animated, is almost impossible to find in the West. It's never, as far as I know, never been translated. You can only download it on a... Actually, you can't even download it. You can buy it digitally from a service in Japan. But it's only in Japanese. No subtitles. And you can't search for it in Latin text. You can only search for it in Japanese. And I don't speak Japanese. And then when you do buy it, you can only watch it online. You can't download it. So I managed to capture it, hired a translator, and you won't be able to see it in any other video. So that's another reason. Not only because I wanted to see Dino Thunder, but also because I'll be able to give something that you cannot find anywhere else on YouTube. Always liked Adam and Aisha. Wasn't a big fan of Rocky. Well, Rocky definitely was. Like I say, he was played down a bit. Suddenly the statues come to life, turning into powerful and terrible warriors. The stone guards lead the attack on our friends, who desperately try to resist the violent blows. They like to use the words violent blows, don't they? Remember that now that each of us have the spirit of an animal, we have to use it against these monsters. Does anybody say that in the movie? With the strength of the ninja, not the animals, the six friends are finally able to conquer the Stone Warriors. Inside the temple, the Power Rangers find the monolith, which gives them back their great power. Did they go inside the temple? I don't remember them ever going inside. It's just once they're defeated, the power comes out to them. The Power Rangers return to the control center, or the command center, where they find Zordon has died. Was that in the movie? Oh yeah, no. Well, he's not dead, has he? He's sort of on his last legs. But with the great power, anything is possible. The six friends form a circle, giving off a great energy. In a few seconds, Zordon is brought back to life, young and powerful as before. He was never young. The mission of the Power Rangers is not over yet. Ivan is destroying Angel Grove with his terrible ectoskeletons, which they're not ectoskeletons. Thanks to the great power, the six friends managed to defeat the enormous monsters. Does he actually die? I can't remember that. I remember that they form the circle and they sort of bring him back from the brink. But I didn't think he actually died. 157. I don't have that. Oh, no, I do. Ectomorphicons, yeah. I think those warriors that came out of the stone, their costumes were worked on by one of the guys who did Mad Max, as the production took place in Australia. Oh, okay. That'd be interesting if it is. My recollection is that he was dead. I'll have to go back and watch it. I do remember that they had to, you know, sort of bring him back, but I don't know if I didn't know he'd actually died. 161, 164. Uh, 165, 169. What are we missing? 160, 166, 162. Do we have 168? Yes, we do. Alpha says they're too late. Oh, okay, fair enough. Okay, yeah, so they can't just come out and say that he's... I mean, he certainly looks dead in that picture. That's a bit morbid for a sticker. Yeah, I suppose you can't just come out and say he's dead. It's a bit like that thing in... Oh, what's the film where people aren't allowed to die? They just have big boo-boos. Is it George of the Jungle? Two Brendan Fraser movies we've talked about on the stream. I think it's George of the Jungle anyway. Like, there's guys that fall off bridges and things, and goes, but this is a Disney movie, so people don't die, they just get really big boo-boos. So Zordon wasn't dead. He just had a big boo-boo. I'm not sure the name of the actor who played Zordon. I thought he was good, though. That's annoying me. The sticker's cut off, like, the middle. Oh, don't worry about Forever Red and Wild Force. We'll get back to that. I mean, I've talked about Forever Red a few times. But we'll get around to that. Don't you worry. Forever Red is going to become like a meme for the channel. It's just going to keep coming around over and over again. Because there's so many things wrong with that episode. I mean, I liked it. But I kind of liked it because it's a car crash. Ah, here we go. We get all the way to 163 and 64 and we finally get the iconic shot of them sort of in the command center. All holding their groins. Nicholas Bell. He was good. He was a good Zordon. I mean, obviously the whole thing of him, you know, lying in a physical form is hard to explain, and it's completely non-canon to the TV show. Some of these double stickers do not line up at all. But then you got Aisha with like a crane stand there. Stance. Oh, hang on, what sticker was that? 169. Ooh. Don't remember that shot either. As I say, these are all presumably like an on-set photographer. Was it ever commented on why they didn't bring Rocky back for Forever Red? Well, I mean, I haven't commented on it, but it may have been mentioned somewhere. Yeah, they had the Equestrian Red Ranger, didn't they? Obviously, I don't think the Equestrian Ranger appeared on Morphwood, though, did he? He was suddenly morphed. But then who would Rocky play? Would he be... Because obviously you had Austin St. John playing the original Red Ranger. And then he was the Blues here, wasn't he? So I suppose who would you have? Yeah, I mean you could have two Mighty Morphin era, or you could. Well, actually, I suppose you could have him, you know, half morphed in his ninja costume. He was asked to do Forever Red, but was busy at the time. So was he asked before Austin St. John? Said no to appearing, but then he was going to be a butler? Could have put Rocky in there soon. He was going to be a butler? I'm not quite sure I get that. Where are we? We've only got... Oh, we're on the last page. Ivan is still not given up. He turns into a powerful giant beast and attacks the Power Rangers in a terrible battle in outer space. Well, technically he morphs with the... Actually, Morphicons, doesn't he? While a huge comet approaches the area of combat. As Ivan is trying to destroy them, the Power Rangers move aside and the evil monster is hit and destroyed. Well, actually... They don't just move aside. They knee him in the balls, is what they do. They knee him in his ectomorphicon balls. Once again, our friends have saved planet Earth by freeing it from the forces of evil. Well, ooze-based evil, anyway. $175, $170, $173. We already got that. $178. And we're going to be missing a few on this last page, aren't we? And one's a half sticker. 76, 72, 74, 80. So, oh wait, no, 176 we've got. $172, 180. No, I'm missing those two. Linkara told that story about Butler Rocky. So is that just something that he came up with? I'll be honest, I've never watched a Linkara video. Nothing against the guy at all. I've just never watched any of his videos. 174. Did I have 174? Oh yeah, I do have 174. Well spotted. It's just 172 and 80 that was missing. Halloween 6 from 1995. Danny the kid and... Oh no, I haven't. To be fair, that's one movie. Well, not Halloween 6. I've never seen the original Halloween, but I've been wanting to watch it for a while, and I've got it. And I've got, because I want to watch the original one, and then I want to watch the modern ones, because they look quite good. But I know after the first one, they start to get a bit weird. Or certainly after the second one. So I'm only really interested in the first one. And then the modern ones. Because, I mean, the first one... I mean, it's borderline not really a horror movie, is it? It's more kind of... It's a murder mystery movie. I've just noticed the track that I've added to this playlist is considerably more dancey than the other tracks on this playlist. Okay, fair enough. As I say, yeah, I think the reason why I haven't watched Linkara's videos is because I wasn't aware of him until I started making my comparison videos, and then people made me aware of him. And I kind of don't want to watch his, in case they start getting influenced by his videos. I always want to provide something different. So again, nothing against the guy. But I've stayed clear on purpose. Although I have seen in the analytics on YouTube that some of the traffic for my channel has come from atop the fourth wall website. So I don't know if that's people talking in a forum, or I don't know if Linkara has linked to some of my videos. I don't know. I've never spoken to him. Ah, that's really annoying that I've only got half that sticker, because that's a cool one. Oh well. Has he ever done Sentai? I know... Oh, but doesn't care about Super Sentai. Oh, I see. Because I know... In fact, actually, I think the first time that I'd ever heard of him was Angry Video Game Nerd was doing a video on Power Rangers, because he'd sort of realised that he'd sort of passed it off when he was a kid, because it's kind of like a Saved by the Bell show, but because he was such a fan of Tokusatsu and Godzilla and things, he wanted to watch it but didn't know where to start. And I think in that video he shows Linkara's History of Power Rangers or something. Well now, that's the end of the album. I mean, how many were we missing? It wasn't that many. Number 21, 39, 38, 31. But do we say 31? I've already lost count. Hang on. 21. 31. 39. 38. Oh, there's a few on that one, wasn't there? 50, 52, 53. That's 7 we're missing. 99. It's 8. 100. 112, 113, 117, 124, 147, 156. Actually, it's more than I thought. It's about 20, isn't it? 180. Ah, well. I still had fun. Because I'll say, I don't remember this sticker album from when I was a kid. I don't know if this came out in the UK. Oh no, it must have done. I thought this was an American version of it, but Merlin Publishing International, Milton Keynes, England. So it did come out in the UK. Linkara reviewed the Zyuranger episodes adapted into Green with Evil. Okay, so he did... So he touches on it occasionally, does he? On a Sentai because the Patreon supporter requested it once, I think. Okay, fair enough. He's also done 7 episodes of Gukaiger and a couple of Kamen Rider episodes as reviews on Patreon. Oh, okay, so he uses it as additional Patreon content. Okay. So, that's the album complete. Where did I put the little standees? Anyway, here's one. This was the Guldar one. You might see those if they actually stand up. You might see those in the background on some future videos. But to be fair, I mean, there's a lot in there. There's a lot of stuff that can go and try and make some money back on this stream. So, little preview of what's coming up ahead. So, I'd mentioned, obviously, we've got Retro Wednesdays, and then we've also got Poke Mondays. So, next week is Valentine's Day, in terms of Monday, Poke Mondays. So we're going to be doing another opening of physical packs, and that's going to be the Evolving Skies expansion. I'll be putting the posts out for those soon. There will be no Retro Wednesdays next week because it's my wife's birthday. So we will see you back by at the end of February. Obviously, so we got 2 Poke Mondays before the next Retro Wednesdays. The next one is not a Power Rangers one. It's going to be a gaming one because I've been waiting to do some gaming content for a long time. But I've been working in and out of the video game industry for... how many years now? 5? Sega, and then... well, I was unemployed for about a year and a half because I lost my job. And then for the last 3.5 years was Ubisoft. So yeah, 3.5 years I've been waiting to do some gaming content. Lots of Power Rangers content to follow. But we're going to dive into some more diverse content. So I will see you back on Monday for Poke Mondays. Thank you guys for hanging out with me tonight. I thought this was going to be a shorter stream, actually, because this is a smaller album. And we've been here for nearly 4 hours now. So I really appreciate you hanging out with me and doing this, because I don't get to do this with people where I am. So it's really great to be able to, you know, sit down and do this with people. That's kind of why I wanted to do these streams. It's an opportunity for, well, for you to get to know me more, but for me to get to know you more too. Do I know anything about Rayman 4? All I know is that it hasn't been mentioned. I can't tell you internally what has been mentioned, but I can certainly tell you that Rayman 4 has not been mentioned when I left anyway. In fact, there was no plans for anything Rayman, as far as I'm aware. Not that we were told internally. So, I don't know. At least now, it being 11 PM, it's not long until AEW starts. Is that on ITV? Because I haven't watched any of it live, but I watched the Cody Rhodes and Sammy Guevara ladder match on the catch-up. And that was so good. I mean, that's probably match of the year. What region? Cheshire. We were in Kent. We're now in Cheshire. So yes, thank you guys for joining tonight. Obviously, if you stumble across this stream and you're not a subscriber, please consider subscribing. Obviously, we're doing 2 streams a week, but there's going to be lots of longer, in-depth videos. If you haven't watched any of my content before, go watch a few videos. You'll get an idea of what might be coming. Not just Power Rangers, but all sorts of things. We're going to be diving into a lot of different content. And also, Fight TV and ITV Hub. ITV Hub, I thought so. Thanks, TV. Punk MJF is my new match of the... I haven't seen that yet. I'll go watch it. Is it on ITV Hub? I might go watch that later. As I mentioned, somebody was asking earlier in the stream about merchandise. Obviously, I'm not going to push merch too much, but seeing as somebody asked for it, there is a link in the description to our Teespring page. I've worked with some really cool designers to create some, not just Pomelo Retro merch, but some Power Rangers and some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle inspired merch as well. There's a few things that have just been added to the store. So if you want to go and take a look at that, yeah, the link is in the description. And also somebody last week was asking about whether I had any Power Rangers Zeo or Mega Ranger inspired merch, which I do. There's a few t-shirts on there in different styles. You can just go see those. I can't remember if it was this stream or whether it was last week. Someone was asking about Super Chat, whether that was activated. It is. Again, not going to push you to donate or anything. You don't have to, but seeing as somebody asked, it is there. And obviously, we also have the Patreon, which will get you early access to some videos. If you join the Batcave tier, it gives you an extra chat channel on Discord, which, by the way, if you haven't joined our Discord, it's free to join. Go over there. It has all the information on our future streams, but then it's also allows us to carry on pretty much talking about what we were talking about in the chat, but without having to be on an actual stream. And you can also share some of your stuff. There's lots of different categories of all the different areas that we're going to be covering on this channel. So if you want to get an idea of what's coming ahead, not just Power Rangers stuff, but anything, or if you even want to suggest stuff that's going to be on this channel, you can go over to the Discord and you can join that there. And if you want extra access and extra content, then you can also join the Patreon as well. But thank you for joining along. I'm really enjoying diving into these. We have a whole year's worth of content scheduled to not just in streams, but lots of videos as well. I know you're all waiting for the next Power Rangers versus Sentai comparison. It is coming. I'm working on that right now. And there is... well, there's plenty of other things that I'm working on too, both to do with Power Rangers, to do with wrestling, to do with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, other 90s and 80s TV shows, some toy things that might be coming, and a few others. I won't spoil anything too much yet, but as I say, you can find a little bit out on the Discord. So, thank you very much for joining. It really is becoming some of the highlights of my week to hang out with you guys. So thank you very much. And I will see you all in the next video. And have a good night. And depending on where you are in the world, have a good afternoon. Maybe have a good morning. Indonesia. Is it? I'm guessing it's morning technically now. Take care of yourself, guys. Thank you.